It is 6 a.m. Good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Tennessee Titans fell 29-7 in the first preseason action this past Saturday night to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Titans rookie quarterback Cam Ward and the starting offense played the first two series of the game. The first series went 3-and-out, but the second series finished with a Tony Pollard 1-yard touchdown, capping off an 11-play, 65-yard drive.
Pollard's behind Cam. They hand it to Tony. Tony gets hit. He spins around. Did he get in? Yes, he did. That's a Titans touchdown.
I told you that's what I like.
That's what you like.
Cam Ward finished 5 of 8, going 67 yards, and Calvin really caught all three of his targets for 50 yards. The Titans did not manage to get out of the game clean and healthy, though. Running back Tajay Spears was forced out of the game early with a high ankle sprain. Head coach Brian Callahan provided an update on the injury in yesterday's press conference, saying that Spears is expected to miss the next several weeks, including the final two preseason games, but hopes to have him ready for Week 1 in Denver. The Titans are in Atlanta this week for joint practice with the Falcons later this week, and, of course, Friday night kickoff at 6 p.m. You can hear that right here on The Zone. In other NFL news, an injury situation to monitor in Philadelphia as Eagles Pro Bowl left guard Landon Dickerson was carted to the locker room during practice yesterday after suffering an apparent right leg injury and unable to put weight on it. And in golf, Justin Rose rallies late and forced a 3-hole playoff with J.J. Spaun to win the FedEx St. Jude Championship in Memphis on Sunday. Rose made up a 3-shot deficit in the final 5 holes and made 2 birdies in the playoffs, securing his 12th PGA Tour title. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
A very good morning to you in Music City, USA. We welcome you for the very first time in 2025 into a Reaction Monday. Ramon and Will, live on your radios and streaming live on 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. We're fueled by Scooter's Coffee, locally owned near you in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. We have thoughts. We have reactions, and we know you do as well. So you can let us know at 615-737-1045. Cam Ward's first impression, some linebackers that showed up in a big way on the Titans defense, but overall a defeat in the first preseason contest of 2025. Ramon Foster, we made it a Reaction Monday for the first time. There is tons to discuss. Good morning.
Good morning, man. It's plenty, Will. Good bit of it. Watched the game yesterday morning, man, on my way back. Also, was talking a little bit about the broadcast. Tampa's broadcast, I guess it was because it was the local from the NFL app, did not show a lot of the stuff that you guys saw. So I'm fascinated to hear your take on the extras that went on. But all in all, like you said, I think this team saw a good bit of what they needed to see early. Albeit the 29 points given up was kind of problematic in the end of the game. But all in all, Will, it was good. Good to see football from guys that we actually paying attention to a team that we're interested in covering. So I'm excited to see how your experiences were. And, dog, I sat around and watched mostly all football yesterday, man. Did some family stuff, but watched football, and it was good. The Chargers going to be a very physical team, by the way, so I just want to throw that out there.
It is good to be back. It is good to have takeaways about football games. I know you've got plenty as well.
Yes.
Cam Ward, good first impression. 11 plays, 65-yard drive. It took 6:38 off the clock before he got on the field. That was the Tampa possession that essentially gave Tampa 14 minutes and the Titans 1 minute of first quarter time of possession. So Cam Ward waited on the sideline. He didn't start warming up again until the quarter was essentially over and the second quarter began. A lot of conversations with Bo Hardigree, with Calvin Ridley, who was in the middle of the quarterback meeting during that 6-minute and 38-second drive for Tampa, and then he comes out firing. 27 yards to Calvin Ridley. Open to Ridley again for completions of 10 and 13. 7 yards to Lockett, 10 yards to Okonkwo, and Tony Pollard's touchdown run put the Titans on the board. It was a small glimpse, Ramon Foster, but we got a first impression, what did you like about Cam Ward's debut in a Tennessee Titans jersey on Saturday night in Tampa?
I think the most important thing that he did this past weekend was designate, Will. Yes, he had a DD, except this was a DW, a designated wide receiver. I thought it was a very apparent, man, looking at him and Calvin Ridley do work, that's going to be his guy. Not that he has to force it to him, not that he's trying to make him, well, he is. I'll be quite honest with you. He's found his go-to guy from what I saw this past weekend. 3 targets, 3 receptions for him, and just made it apparent that that's his playmaker, man. So I was glad to kind of see that from Cam Ward. That's something we spoke about last year when we were speaking about D-Hop being here and Calvin Ridley too. Like, it really take a quarterback with some moxie to, put other wide receivers to the side and say, he's the guy that's going to save us in football games. So I was kind of glad to see that from Cam Ward early, man. And I know it can be very cliche and just, that's his friend. Like, no. That guy's the money man. That guy's the guy that's supposed to make plays for you, and they both did on Saturday night.
It is nice when things that happen on the practice field immediately translate in a positive way to football action and a football game. And this was a football game, albeit not one that was played by starters for very long and by Tampa not really at all. But we've seen the connection between Calvin Ridley and Cam Ward start off on the right foot.
Yeah.
And that continued in a positive way when the lights turned on. That was not the case at times last season. It's oftentimes not the case in preseason, especially with such a small sample size. If we know one thing about this Tennessee Titans offensive attack and the way they are going to play, they are going to put Calvin Ridley in a position for another 1,000-yard season. I think that is one of the things I am most confident about with this entire offense.
Yes, no doubt, man. It was fun, like you said, watching. I feel like last year, going into these preseason games, it was one of them, well, I'll get it. You know what I'm saying? You talk to yourself, well, they'll get it. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. And it never was last year. So to your point, Will, about practice, going to the game field, it was good. I didn't think Cam looked surprised either. I thought he was very calm in his delivery. Like you said, after that first series, you get the cobwebs out, man, and try to figure out what's next. They put together a real good drive, capped it off by being able to run the football in, which is something that Coach Callahan has said he also wanted to do, too. The running game has to be a part of it. Tony Pollard doing his part. And, I have to give credit. I know it was not the ones. I absolutely know it wasn't Tampa Bay's first team. But if it had gone bad for the Titans offensive line, we'd be talking about that this morning.
It is night and day how much better that group is based off of a year ago.
Listen, man.
Night and day.
He was able to pitch a tent back there a couple of times. And that right there on one of those passes to Calvin Ridley, I know it's to Chig, if I'm not mistaken. He was able to just hit him down the middle, and he's just like, well, that doesn't happen if he's got pressure in his face.
I believe 3rd and 9, or 3rd and 8.
I think it was Chig or...
It was Chig, over the middle on 3rd down in the red zone.
That doesn't happen if he has pressure in his face.
Yep.
To your point, it wasn't the starters, but it was a football game being played for guys that are trying to make the roster. And the offensive line, I felt like, stood tall. They looked like they were one unit. And also, Peter Skoronski at times like a bull in a china shop. Yeah, it's funny watching him pull because he's just like, get there. And he ended up pulling, I think it was a gap scheme. He ended up pulling around on the Tony Pollard touchdown play, and he banged the linebacker in the gap, man. Again, all you got to do is get your guy, let the running back do the rest, man. So it was a good showing, I thought, after the first series for the Titans offensive line.
Cam Ward finishes this game 5 of 8, 67 yards, a quarterback rating of 89.1 on 2 drives, a 3-and-out that we'll talk about. The second drive we're talking about to lead off the show. He led the Titans in passing with only 2 drives.
Yeah.
We will talk about the backup quarterbacks. We've already seen a couple of comments in the F&M Bank chat from you on the 104.5 The Zone YouTube channel saying, Lord help us if Cam Ward goes down. We will address it. We will talk about the backup quarterbacks and the problem or lack thereof that they have. Overall, Ramon Foster, it is a solid debut for Cam Ward. And I think that is what Titans fans will take away from this game is the timing was there.
Yeah.
The accuracy was there. A couple of throws you would like back. The near interception. In the red zone, the miss on 3rd down with Van Jefferson and a couple of guys, to be honest with you, who were open on the first 3rd down. But we'll talk about the explanation of why that happened. But overall, you get a glimpse and you get a first impression. And that is what Titans fans are going to take away, more so than the run defense in the fourth quarter with the threes, more so than what Tim Boyle did, more so than some positives in special teams. That was your first impression, and I thought Cam Ward made a really good one. And he showed the fans publicly and with cameras on what we've seen in training camp with cameras off.
Yep.
We've seen really good throws. We've seen window shopping, like Cam Ward likes to say, where he's fitting the ball in a really tight window to his receivers. We've seen Calvin Ridley. We've also seen some mistakes, and we've seen some rookie moments. All in all, Cam Ward is on schedule for where you want him to be by the first preseason game, and that's got to be the number one takeaway of this preseason game.
That, and I feel like on a morning like today, we have to compare them because I think they're locked in. They just are, Will, for life at this point, man, as long as their careers last. For the night that Shedeur Sanders had Friday, Cam answered the call for what you needed him to do too.
True.
You know that's the part of it.
No, it's true.
You know that was a part of if Cam had gone out and thrown an interception, just one of them, Will, that would be the narrative. And I'm glad that at least for Nashville is concerned, for Cam Ward's start of his career, that he did what you just needed him to do. You saw what it could be, not wishing you had the other guy, respectfully.
Well, for my first game on the sidelines with Titans Radio, Cam Ward scared me, Ramon.
What you mean?
I was horrified by something that Cam Ward did. We're going to talk about that next. 615-737-1045. Reaction Monday on Ramon and Will, 1045 The Zone. Ramon Will, fueled by Scooter's Coffee on 104.5 The Zone. I had a little bit of a jump scare on Saturday night. Titans and Bucs, 29-7, the final. We've got a ton of reaction for you. 615-737-1045. My jump scare mode had nothing to do with the cannons that were being fired for the pirate ship.
I will say they got me, okay?
Well, where they got me was that they were firing the cannons when the Bucs would get into the red zone. We'll save that for the Monday roast later. But we used to be a proper country.
Yeah.
We used to fire cannons for touchdowns. Now we're firing them when fourth-string running backs enter the red zone.
Participation bangs is what that is right now. That's
exactly
crazy,
right.
man.
But here's where Cam Ward scared me on Saturday, Ramon. He got to the stadium so early, I thought I had missed the bus in my first ever Titans radio game. I kid you not.
Yeah, right.
So we had the plan, and this is not a me story. This is just about how early Cam got there. So the different buses that go to the stadium, there's the equipment bus, there's the earliest possible bus.
The trainers.
Equipment, management, everything to set up the stadium for the Titans.
Yeah.
7:30 kickoff. That bus left at 1:30. Whoa. Cam Ward was on that bus, and I'm sitting in the hotel. We were going to leave around 4. So there's a process, obviously, that like you get everything checked. You get on the bus. You go through security.
NFL security don't play.
No,
they do
nor
not
should they.
play.
Nor should they. And I'm sitting in the room at like 3, and I look on Twitter, and it says Cam is in the building. I'm like, no, hang on a minute. Hey, wait. I frantically look around. Yeah. Like, let's just go down at 3:30. Let's go down at 3:15. This is probably about 3:15. Like, let me put my shoes all a bit quicker. Let's go downstairs. And obviously, I had not missed the bus, and I was fine. But how rare is that? Talking about a quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
Getting to the stadium, going at 1:30 for a 7:30 kickoff. Put in perspective for us, because you played for 11 years, how rare that is for a quarterback to do something like that.
That's very rare. And I'll say this too, that young, I'll pull the curtain back just a little bit too. My first year doing, what was the Chicago game? The Chicago game, yeah. Caleb Williams last year. Last year with Caleb Williams. Okay. Caleb Williams didn't show up until, I think it was also reported too, about an hour before he was supposed to at the time. So young guys usually don't show up that early. Well, you mentioned the first bus, second bus. Like, if the game was at 7, the first bus probably leaves at, like you said, 3 or 4, and then there's another one at like 4:45 or something like that. The way it breaks down, I would go with the training crew earlier, like just an hour before those buses. We catch an Uber open. That's like maybe 4 hours before. Cam going 6 hours, he may as well just take a cot and a pillow. Like, that is, I'll be quite honest with you, that may be too much time. I'm not sure what he's got going on, but if that's his method and how he goes about doing his day-to-day, his schedule, leave it alone, man. So I guess it's his focus. It'd be certain guys I knew that, we get there early just so the crowd wouldn't crowd our space and stuff. Get taped, get in the hot tub. Well, get in the hot tub, get massaged a little bit if you got something that's tight on you, and just get yourself together mentally. Watch a little bit more tape, put yourself in the zone, walk the field, all those little small things like that. If he got there at 1 o'clock, well, that's 6 hours before, and probably 4 hours before he actually has to do anything. Rare is what I would call that from any perspective. Well, I don't even know if I've ever seen Ben do that, or Charlie, or anybody else get to the stadium that early.
ESPN's Teron Davenport noticed it and talked to Cam about it post-game. He said it's a habit that carried over from night games at Miami. To pass the time, he listened to music and watched a movie. Watched the new John Cena movie in the locker room. He was on the field to watch the grounds crew take the tarp off so he could get an early start on his pregame warm-up. He was just bouncing a football, walking laps around the tarp, essentially. And that was when I got there, when I got to the stadium around, 5 o'clock. Because we left, again, about 4:15, or I guess it was 4:30, 4:45-ish. So a little bit different. I think a little bit more evidence that he is wired a little bit differently, both figuratively and literally, because he has wired headphones that are just the white Apple headphones that he has plugged into his phone as well walking in. So obviously that's secondary to the performance. It's secondary to what we saw on the field. But I thought that was funny and just something a little bit different about how Cam is going to do things Cam's way, and is similar to the kind of preparation that we are seeing coaches talk about it, hearing coaches talk about during training camp that he's getting to the facility at 5 a.m. for a training camp practice that starts at 8.
What's cool, though, is this. Now, I'll say this. There's also the other side. Some guys just get up and go, though, too. Like, you'll catch them just chilling in their street clothes before the kickoff sometimes. But guys are very professional in their approach, too. The thing that Cam is doing, he's removing doubt. He's removing doubt that you're going to, like, outwork him. He's removing doubt that he's just a first-round draft pick, and that's just that. Like you said, well, like just because you're there spending time with it, for some folks it doesn't mean they're actually working. But for a guy like him that's gotten into his mental space, like this is part of his necessary regiment moving forward, I feel. And the other side of it for me is this, though, Will, it's good to see a guy in a position that this team need to show everybody else how to work. I feel like it puts pressure on everybody else for that matter. You can't say you're outworking me. So if I ask you to do something or we're supposed to be doing one thing and you do something else, I got to call you out. And that's why I said, like, I feel like a good bit of this fan base is going to see him in a different light sometimes, to where you get the way Kobe was, the way Jordan was, that is in your face and might end up punching you at one point in time. Hopefully it's not his case. But the perspective that he's going to challenge his teammates, I think it starts now by setting this reputation.
TK on YouTube says, so does that mean he's showing up at 6 a.m. for every Sunday since all of our games are noon kickoffs? No, this is a night game routine is what he talked about post-game when Tehran asked him. He said, this is something I did for night games to pass the time.
And I'll say this, too, about the night games. That is where you spend a lot of your mental energy.
It's a lot of hurry up and wait.
It is a lot of hurry up and wait. And that's why coaches try to fill it with those walkthroughs and stuff like that.
Right.
It can get bothersome waiting around for the night. Night games are cool for the fans and for the TV and the optics, but for players, you become somewhat tired if you just sit it down and wait around all day, though.
But it scared the crap out of me.
Well, welcome to the NFL. You see the differences, though? Like, guys take their craft a whole lot different. Like, you are on your own to set this up for yourself.
Like, however you want to do it, you got options.
You do got
There's literally
options.
a 3-hour gap of when you can get to the stadium if you want to get there at 1:45 or 2, or if you want to get there at 4:45 with most of the team.
It was a time in Tampa specifically where we took an Uber there. Like, that is that part of it, too. Like, as long as you got your credentials, you can get into the stadium, and they'll walk you up to the locker room and stuff like that. So, good on him. More than anything, Will, I do like the pressure he's applying to everybody else. There will be others that follow. Watch. That's the other part of this.
I think Calvin Ridley's already followed.
You see what I'm saying? Like, that's what you need to jumpstart what your future's going to be. So, good on Cam. He's got to sustain it, but the other side of it is what we saw, too, in the game. The more he make plays, the more validation that this gives, too.
Brian Callahan spoke with the media yesterday on his day after game Zoom. Obviously, typically will happen on Mondays during the regular season. The best place to get good analysis, I think, from the head coach is when he's been able to watch the film a little bit and reflect on things, not just in the heat of the moment post-game. So we got that yesterday, and this was Callahan talking about his quarterbacks and talking specifically about Cam Ward.
First Cam. There's definitely Cam certainly hasn't arrived yet. You know, we got a lot of things still we're working on. I thought it was a good start for him. Encouraging, it was productive. There's a couple of things that we're going to keep kind of grinding on. I think still working on getting the ball out fast, still working on the timing part of it. I think it was good to feel some live action there to feel what that feels like for real. But overall, pretty good. But there's certainly plenty of things that we're still working on with Cam. So that process is still ongoing. As far as the backup quarterbacks go, I think some of it was circumstantial. I thought Brandon did some good things. You know, he gets an unlucky tip ball, which is, looks bad on the stat sheet, but he did some stuff that was about in line with what I expect of him. And then Tim got put in a bit of a tough spot, especially at the end there. You know, we go down 2 scores and we're trying to drop back and throw the ball a bunch, and I didn't really want to get to that position, but put him in harm's way probably more than you'd like to for a preseason game. So, but they both got to get better. They both got to do things better. And good thing is we got a lot of weeks here still to go, and that's one opportunity for them, and we got 2 more coming up.
That is Brian Callahan speaking with the media yesterday. We will talk about the backup QBs. We'll talk about the other guys that were put in, but all in all, a solid debut for Cam Ward. Solid first impression. Let's go to the phones. Get your thoughts. 615-737-1045. Matt in Shelbyville leads us off this morning. What's up, Matt?
Morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning. This comment here is for you, Ramon. You just said that the performances by Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward was equivalent, and I'm going to have to disagree with you. First of all, the biggest thing that Cam Ward did was not turn the ball over. I think that is the biggest thing for the Tennessee franchise and the narrative, right? That would have been tough. But Shedeur had to overcome a lot and played 3 quarters of play and throwing touchdowns and throwing dimes. And I think that Shedeur, actually, I want to get your opinion, I think Shedeur put the league on notice, because if he comes out and produces and start producing with the ones, they're going to have to go back and question on how this man turned around and got to a 5th-round draft pick. It'll be more investigation from the Watergate, because people are going to be upset because you had very high, Mel Kiper said he was supposed to be the second pick of the draft. So was there anything extra why he fell so far? So I just think that Cam, I like Cam.
Thank you, Matt. We appreciate the call. We got to keep it moving because we got other people on the line for us this morning.
Yeah.
Ramon, what was your thoughts on that?
Matt, that was my point. That was the entire point right there, is saying that there was more pressure on Cam to perform after what Shedeur did the first night, meaning Shedeur, if I'm not mistaken, the Browns had the national game. There were eyes on him. He's the more popular guy right now based upon all things that we are actually seeing on TV. Like, they're showing his game, and Nike is tweeting out stuff about him as it pertains to one performance in the preseason. And I think Cam following that up, being that both those guys are quarterbacks, probably Cam is one, but the idea that Shedeur is more popular is my point of it all, too. Like, and yes, I think it is fair. Like, as far as the Nashville market was concerned, and the people that wanted Shedeur here possibly too, that Cam had to perform the way he did on Saturday night because of how the fanfare of what Shedeur did Saturday night. And I'm not saying one is, or that Shedeur is more important. Cam being number 1 overall states that he's more important in this conversation.
He was given less time to prove himself, and he made the most of his opportunity in the same way that Shedeur Sanders did.
Yeah, no doubt.
We are in Nashville. I could give 2 craps about Shedeur Sanders right now in terms of how it affects the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah. The performance of it, to me.
Call me when he does it 3 weeks in a row. It's one game.
Is what you needed to see from Cam is what I'm getting at in this point.
Cam backed up what he has done in training camp practices.
Exactly.
Shedeur Sanders had a good day after being like the 4th quarterback. Like, I think it's way too early to put the league on notice at all. It's one preseason game. In the words of Coach Dave McGinnis, keep your powder dry. We're not having Watergate level scandal conversations because Shedeur Sanders threw a couple of good balls against threes.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
There's more context to a longer conversation on this one.
Yeah, it's just today is about Cam Ward, the Titans. We're not going to do a dissertation on Shedeur Sanders today when there's Titans football to talk about, respectfully. Marcus is in Nashville next up. Hey, Marcus.
What's up, y'all?
Morning, Marcus.
Hey, man, all I want to do is win. And at the end of the day, we still didn't win, And I want to say that first quarter, we look just like the old Titans. I'm not trying to be no party pooper right now. And, okay? Yes, Cam came out in the second half and did his thing, but I think they should have left him in the game, except that part where that quarterback got clobbered like crazy. But I'm just saying, man, I just want to win, and that's just seeing that, just not getting in the end zone and stuff like that. We got to get on our defense, man. Come on, bro. Mm-hmm. How y'all gonna still be on the field the whole first quarter, going to the second? And I don't care if it's on third string, second string. It becomes a habit when it keeps on happening. Don't y'all remember the 17 number? That ain't no lucky number for Tennessee. That's the only number we seen last year in Tennessee. So,
no doubt.
I just want to win. That's it, man. I don't care if it's preseason. I don't care if it's real season. I think preseason is the time you prove that you want to play in the real season.
Yeah.
So, That's just how I feel.
We'll talk about that one. I was going to say, Marcus brings up a point, but here's also the other part I think we're seeing the difference in having an established coach and Coach Boyle versus this on Todd Bowles. I mean, when you look at the way he's been here and have a system in place, and I think you look at also the back end of what the roster is, too. I think you saw that talent not be there when it comes to stopping what Tampa was capable of doing, of what the Titans were able to do defensively. Like, there's not many names defensively that you're looking for out of that young bunch of guys, respectfully, that are going to contribute like that. That is the fragile part I feel like the Titans are going to have this year, is making sure that the starters, and the backups stay healthy. Like, fishing for the bottom end of the roster in the second half, Tampa seems to have a better roster right now when it comes down to that part of it.
So Brian Callahan made the point at the beginning of the week that preseason games are about the individual technique within a game setting. It is about learning about who you have. And we've spoken about this, Ramon, on the defensive line specifically, that when Keandre Coburn was released, it was in order to learn about what you have in a bunch of undrafted defensive linemen. Isaiah Rakes, Cam Horsley, Philip Bleedy, different young players. Carlos Watkins, an older player within that group. But ultimately, let's be honest, like, you're not going to learn if Cam Horsley and Josiah Bronson and Timmy Horn and like these other guys are worthy of making the roster if they're only playing in the fourth quarter with the threes. These guys were getting in the second quarter of this game. So I don't think it's fair to totally glean anything significant from the way the game goes when you have a lot of people who have not played NFL football on the field at the same time. To me, yes, the 178 rushing yards that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had against you were frustrating. They were running power-o left and right.
Yes, they were.
Every single time in the second half, and the Titans could not stop it. There are things that will need to be cleaned up there, but what did you expect? Like, T'Vondre Sweat, who we learned, by the way, had a tonsillectomy.
Oh.
Is why he's been out.
Okay.
So he's going to be with the team, I believe, in Atlanta, but we're still maybe a week away from really getting back out there, but nothing major for him. Jeffrey Simmons didn't play.
Oh.
This was a glimpse, Ramon, into how far your depth is away from a team that is competing to win their division.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be all it is. Now, that's not a good thing, but it is the reality of the situation the Tennessee Titans are in right now. Behind their top three defensive linemen, T'Vondre Sweat, Sebastian Joseph Day, and of course Jeffrey Simmons, you have 2025 UDFA Cam Horsley, second-year player Josiah Bronson, who played the last 2 years of the UFL, 2025 UDFA Isaiah Rakes, 2025 free agent and 2022 UDFA Timmy Horn, undrafted rookie Philip Bleedy from Auburn, Carlos Watkins, who didn't play. He's a ninth-year player. He didn't play in this game. James Lynch, who's in his sixth season. He actually was disruptive getting after the passer.
I saw some good from him.
I thought he flashed a little bit early, but again, he's not playing much, and that's it. There is a lot of inexperience in that defensive line that played, and that is the fact of the matter. You are going to give up yards and production in preseason, but what does that production gain you? Well, it gains you a glimpse into who needs to stick around and how the Titans need to then address that position moving forward.
Yeah, we also have to remember this. This is the preseason. Like, there's a lot of evaluation that is going on for guys that have to either play on the practice squad at some point or that they want to see if guys can develop. Like, seeing the defensive lineman jump offside in fourth and short or third and short, that is stuff you don't see from the starters. You don't see that from real good quality backup guys, and you saw that this past weekend. So, again, this isn't the end of the story for this preseason. Like, they're trying to figure out what they are. When Keandre Coburn got released, Will, we spoke about this. I said it's
we
like
said this exactly.
I feel like this is a situation they're going to double back to him at some point. And again, if he does get released from the Raiders, the Titans know what they have in a guy like him. He's played football games for this team. He's a former draft pick also coming from Kansas City. Again, you mentioned James Lynch. There was a lot of good to come out of him. And this is why I also say this, too. This is where the hopefuls that you have in training camp, for me, like, they start to fall to the bottom of the doggone ocean at that point. Like, that's why I always say, like, respectfully, I'll say this. I start remembering names when guys start making plays. And this is the time of the year right now where if guys aren't making plays, well, to be quite honest with you, what's the importance of hoping that they turn into dudes or a 53-man roster type of guy? That is the dirty part behind the beautiful game that football is this is a show us what you got league, or we'll show you the door. And right now, seeing that the defense in the second half, if we believe that Denard Wilson calls for these guys to be put in successful situations, well, if they can't make plays, then they don't deserve to be on your team anyway. So, I mean, for folks that call in asking for, to stop a nosebleed, those aren't the guys that you're going to be leaning on during the course of the season.
Let's not forget this team went 3-0 in the preseason last year and then went 3-14.
Yeah.
It is still preseason football. Getting a clear answer on something in preseason is the goal. It doesn't matter if that answer is a bad one. Doesn't matter if it's a good one. All you are looking for in preseason NFL football is answers. What do I have in punt return? Who do I have on the defensive line? Who do I have at linebacker? Because some linebackers made some plays that we're going to talk about as well, and two guys specifically. Answers are the goal of preseason football because this team has the number one pick in the waiver order, and if they feel like the undrafted guys that they brought in defensive line are not stepping up to the plate and don't address some of the things that went wrong on Saturday night, they'll get some new ones that are cut by other teams at the end of training camp.
I think you got a stronger answer on the offensive line.
I think
watching Andrew Rups start right guard and then also later in the game move to left. There's your swing interior guy right there.
And I thought Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon did some good things. I thought Jackson Slater was terrific.
I did too. Yes, 100%. Also, was Duncan down?
He was there. No,
I didn't see or hear much of him. Which is a good thing for him.
He, Ajuku, and Crenshaw-Dixon were in and out a lot.
Okay.
Rotating with each other.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. 615-737-1045. What was your biggest takeaway from the Titans preseason opener against Tampa Bay? We'll continue with your reaction next. Ramon Will is fueled by Scooters Coffee on 104.5 The Zone, locally owned near you in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. Ramon Foster, Will Bowling, Justin Hawkins, your thoughts in the F&M Bank chat, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch, 615-737-1045. We're going to talk about the quarterbacks. We're going to talk about Tajay Spears in hour two. Mm-hmm. Lots of reaction, lots of info for you there. Ramon, what was your biggest non-Cam Ward takeaway? The number one thing that you learned about this team Saturday night that had nothing to do with the starting quarterback?
Cedric Gray is not going to go away.
I thought he had a great night.
Bro, he's working with a spirit.
I thought there were two guys on defense that flashed on a day overall where the defense was not excellent, albeit some turnovers also put them in short fields. But anyway, Cedric Gray, I thought, was one of those two guys that really made the most of their opportunity.
Yes, he did, man. Other than missing that run or that swing pass out to the line of scrimmage, man, Will, he was real good. He was in the backfield. And also, too, I got to pair that up with James Williams Sr., too. Like, he was good at the line of scrimmage, I thought. You did see it look like intentionally offensive lineman giving him a little bit of an extra push from time to time. I'm not sure. James seems to be a little bit of a troublemaker from time to time out on the field with guys. He's a trash talker is what I see, which is a good thing.
He's got an edge to him.
He's got an edge to it, and I like that about him, man. I like that about any linebacker, specifically at that position. But watching those two guys work hand in hand together, I thought was really good in coverage and being able to get to the ball. I thought Cedric Gray really helped himself. If you were in a position to where if you had a thought that he was pulling himself out of the competition, I think that's foul. I think he showed this past weekend with how he played. Just put him in a stadium, and he is going to give you everything that he got, man. I was happy for him, Will, knowing that the way we see it, or at least the way I see it, James and Cody Barton are the guys. And for him not to fold, man, and still show up, I thought was really, really doggone solid from him.
Well, and in this league, you need three good linebackers.
Yeah.
God forbid one guy goes down, or just in general, the rotation of that position, and James being a bit more of a coverage guy and Cedric being able to play in space a bit more in the run game. Mm-hmm. You didn't see a lot of the run game issues when Cedric Gray was still on the field than when some of the run fits just weren't happening after him. And Paul Kaharski did report Anthony Orji has a torn ACL that he suffered in the joint practice against Tampa, so he was not out there. And Kaharski on that report. So that, again, is more reason why your depth was a little bit smaller. Mm-hmm. Your margin for error was a little bit smaller past James Williams, Cody Barton, and Otis Reese did not even play in the game either.
Healthy, man.
So Cedric Gray just became a lot more important over the weekend. Yeah. Otis remains to be seen what the situation is with him, but with Orji going out and him as a special teamer and just as a reserve linebacker being unable to help you this season, Cedric Gray is going to play a role in this defense.
Yes.
No doubt about it. I thought he was good. I had the chance to actually catch up with him for Titans Radio's post-game coverage after the game, and I asked him, like, how much is the game starting to slow down for you? And he just had this big smile. Like, and he let out this big sigh of relief. He was just like, a lot. The game is really slowing down. And I was encouraged by what I saw from him. Ramon, we talked about this on Friday. That is a position where it's really hard to evaluate a linebacker until they can tackle somebody. Mm-hmm. And 7 tackles to lead the team. He made the most of his opportunity.
Yes, he did, man. And like you said, too, like the physicality that this group has to play with, because as much as I think this franchise and fan base is counting on Cam and the offense moving everybody in the right direction, you're going to need more out of guys like Cedric Gray and James Williams and Cody Barton, you know what I'm saying, to help lead this team so that there's no drop-off, so that they can support a rookie on the other side of the ball. Cam will have his mistakes, but having guys step up defensively, I think is going to be one of the biggest things that contribute to this team moving in the right direction. Yeah. While the offense get his bearings down together, because again, the flow of what he has going on, mistakes will be made for Cam, no matter how much he studies, no matter how much he sees on tape, because you got to go through these real life experiences. And when it comes down to the defensive side of the ball, whether it be Cedric Gray on special teams or him having to step in for James, what if James is in a rut himself? Like we still got to look at a transition safety. that's moving to linebacker. Cedric Gray has played linebacker for the majority of his probably football career.
Right.
So there's a little bit of a different mindset for a guy like him as opposed to what James Williams got going on.
Why do you think Tampa had so much success on the ground? What was working for them and what was not working for the Titans defense?
I think, honestly, Will, it was the quality of the play. To be quite,
but where? Like who on the Titans defense was struggling?
The defensive line, they got moved. I felt like that third wave of defensive linemen that came in the game. You saw the line of scrimmage change. Those dudes, I felt like probably weren't as prepared in the conditioning sense. The way Tampa was, also, they kept moving the ball. I don't think there was much change when those guys got set. They stayed on the field and methodically moved them down the field. There was no, in my personal opinion, after that second and first 1.5 defensive line went out, you didn't see any presence of those guys moving forward. Watching those young guys be in, Will, in the third and fourth quarter, looking at them, I saw guys that didn't know what they were doing, per se, because of the reps that you got to earn and practice. The conditioning of those guys I didn't think was good. And technically, I felt like at that point in the game, they were trying to make plays for themselves instead of playing inside of the scheme. And what you have from offensive linemen is this easier for us in those moments to just grind out and run the football. They could not stop a nosebleed, Will. And I think that simply goes to guys that weren't prepared or didn't know what they were doing in those points. Not to say that the coaches didn't prepare them. I think those guys didn't understand the weight of those situations, that we're getting bodied right now and nobody's stepping up to the plate. That's what I saw up front.
I think beyond that, too, some of your young corners struggled to set the edge, not obviously from a edge rusher, defensive line of scrimmage perspective, but containing runs that were consistently bounced to the outside. I didn't think the DBs were up to par in what you wanted in terms of their job in the run defense.
Right.
I thought it was a mixture of outside corners who were in their first NFL game action and a defensive line that was struggling to get a push against those pulling guards and against the power O's.
Yeah.
It was just power O, power O, power O. I mean, Tampa was running the same thing over and over. You just couldn't stop it.
And that's the difference right there is the quality of it. And that matters too.
Coming up, what we know about Tyjae Spears' injury. We'll tell you the latest from Brian Callahan's Sunday afternoon press conference as we begin hour 2 next.
It's Ramon and Will for Window Nation. Will, this summer, I know our AC has been working overtime to keep my house and your house cool and comfortable too, but if you are ready to change that or like us, replace your old or builder-grade windows with custom-built, high-quality windows from Window Nation. Window Nation, they measure 3 times to ensure your windows fit perfectly and keep your home comfortable year-round. Their installation crews finish your job in 1 day or less so you can enjoy the rest of the summer with minimal disruption, Will.
Yeah, we love working with the Window Nation, Ramon, and we love how much customers love Window Nation. An A+ rating for the Better Business Bureau, a 50-point inspection of every window before it leaves the factory, 20-point inspection of every window when it's installed. Pay 0 interest for 5 years. That's right, 0 interest until 2030. Say big this month with 50% off all window styles. And hurry, because this offer will not last long. It's the biggest offer you're going to get. The best sale of the year from Window Nation. Schedule a fast free estimate now with the pros at Window Nation, 866-90NATION, or head online, windownation.com. That's 866-90NATION. Trust the folks with over 45,000 5-star reviews online at windownation.com.
It's Ramon Foster for the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Good people, I have been going to see Dr. Ashley, and here's the thing. She knows how to help an athlete, man. She knows the athlete's body and the trauma of your sport or just life positions can cause to your body and wear also, from active athletes needing some help to stay on the field to older guys too that are now off the field but can still feel the days. Guess what? She has extensive knowledge and the top of the line equipment to get you better. Ladies, she can also help you too, from your hips and back to nerve damage from carrying kids around and just the day-to-day of carrying a family, man. Let her help you get yourself better, stronger, and healthier. The Wellness Institute is one of the few that have a female doctor that can help you be an advocate for yourself to get yourself better, okay? You can have a life free of pain, okay? Enjoy the things that you used to do. Be happy with your life. No more back pain, neck pain, no more tingling in your arms and legs, and no sciatic nerve pain in your legs also. Again, the weakness that comes with it, the sleepless nights, just say goodbye to the disc bulges, man. They can simply help you. They have some of the best state-of-the-art equipment around, and you can start your life today with a pain-free life, and it is possible. Call today, the Wellness Institute of Nashville. No. Their number is 615-246-5009, or go to painisbad.com.
It is 7:01. Good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone studios. Happy Monday. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Tennessee Titans fall 29-7 in their first preseason action Saturday night to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Titans rookie quarterback Cam Ward and the starting offense played the first two series of the game. The first series goes 3-and-out, but the second finished with a Tony Pollard 1-yard touchdown, capping off an 11-play, 65-yard drive.
Pollard's behind Cam. They hand it to Tony. Tony gets hit. He spins around. Did he get in? Yes, he did. That's a Titans touchdown.
I told you that's what I like.
That's what you like.
Cam Ward in his debut finished 5 of 8 for 67 yards, and Calvin Ridley caught all 3 of his targets for 50 yards. The Titans did not manage to get out of the game clean and healthy, however. Running back Tajay Spears was forced out of the game early with a high ankle sprain. Head coach Brian Callahan provided an update on the injury in yesterday's press conference, saying that Spears is expected to miss the next several weeks, including the final 2 preseason games, but hopes to have him back for week 1 in Denver. The Titans are in Atlanta this week and off of practice today, but back on the practice field tomorrow and Wednesday for joint practice with the Falcons. In other NFL news, an injury situation to monitor in Philadelphia as Eagles Pro Bowl left guard Landon Dickerson was carted to the locker room during practice yesterday after suffering an apparent right leg injury and unable to put weight on it. It was announced this morning per ESPN's Adam Schefter that he will have an MRI scheduled for today. In golf, Justin Rose rallies late and forced a 3-hole playoff with J.J. Spaun to win the FedEx St. Jude Championship in Memphis on Sunday. Rose made up a 3-shot deficit in the final 5 holes and made 2 birdies in the playoffs, securing his 12th PGA Tour title. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Balls. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Monday morning, a reaction Monday for the very first time for the Cam Ward-led Tennessee Titans, who fall in Tampa Bay on Saturday night. There are positives, there are negatives, there are reactions for all of us to have. And there's a phone line for you to call and let us know on 615-737-1045. We stream the show live on 1045 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Ramon Foster, Justin Hawkins, our producer. I'm Will Bowling. And according to Brian Callahan, it is an ankle and a couple-week absence for Titans running back Tajay Spears. Teron Davenport reporting on Saturday night that Spears has suffered a high ankle sprain and that he was seen leaving the locker room on crutches with a walking boot on his right foot after the game. The injury happened right before halftime on a 13-yard screen pass caught out of the backfield, limped off the field, was quickly placed on a cart. I was right there at the sideline. Ramon Foster, his shoe was off. Wow. He was not carted off. I think carted off, the connotation of that is that you're stretchered off. They gave him a ride to the locker room where you're sitting on the back of the cart. Gave him a ride to the locker room, and it was lower right leg. We learned later it's ankle. Not expected to be back in preseason. And that really is a shame, Ramon, for a guy that has had a really good start to training camp and I think was set to have a much more prominent role. Maybe he still can, but maybe not right away in this Titans offense.
It just sets him back, as you just said a second ago, in ways that and at this point, I'll be quite honest, he can't afford. And for a lot of different reasons, because I think Coach Callahan needs to see what this offense still is. You put more pressure on Tony Pollard to try to have him out there. You want to be in a position where he's a 1 and 1B. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what you want from those two guys. And this kind of messes up that plan because the way Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears are, they're one and the same, essentially, on how they are as players and what you can do with them. The offense doesn't have to change. When you go to Khalil Mullings or Julius Chestnut, like, it's a different script with those guys. And I think that somewhat prohibits the playbook from expanding a little bit more with Tajay being out. The other part of it is reputation, Will. Like, that's where Tajay's his biggest hurdle has been moving forward is the reputation of him staying available and on the field. Even last year in his rookie year, the exact same things. And again, he's done everything necessary to try to prepare himself for this. And this is a football injury. It's just that now it just finds him again, and it just gives more of to his medical write-up that you don't want to be a very big book at all. Like, that's the thing. His medical book is getting big, and it can't be that, even if it is small stuff.
So as a rookie in 2023, Tajay Spears played all 17 games. Played alongside Derrick Henry, had 453 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, 52 catches for 385 and a score. Last season, he only had 84 carries because he missed 5 games due to 2 concussions, an ankle sprain, and a hamstring injury. 114 touches last year. I felt like Tajay Spears was set to get significantly more touches this season. 100-plus carries for sure. Potential for, I think, closer to 200 touches this entire season. That may still be the case. Where is your concern level about Tajay at this point and another injury to start preseason?
It's because it's the foot again. That's something he dealt with last year also.
It is.
And knowing that for a small skill guy, that can linger a little bit longer than you want it to for those dudes, man, or it makes them uncomfortable.
And I think, too, a position that has so many quick cuts.
Yeah.
Where the lower ankle muscles are so important.
Absolutely.
That's not like a quarterback that can go out there and just be a little bit more of a statue and play on an ankle sprain the way Patrick Mahomes did in the playoffs a couple years ago.
No.
That is not an injury that is good for running backs.
No, and the other part that's problematic for him, Will, is guys can tackle him. They're going to roll. That's not going to be a penalty. That's not going to be anybody that notices it. But if they shoestring tackle him, they're going to roll a little bit just to aggravate their ankle a little bit more. Not saying that it's malicious. It's just the way the game is at times. You can take any advantage that you want to. And Tajay's putting himself in a position to just be one of those guys. Like to your point, he's been there, but not all the time. This is the year for him that he's got to take that next step, considering you can remove yourself from Tony Pollard's contract next year. You could, and it can be the Tajay show. To me, I feel like with the way it's set up and his reputation that he has right now, the Titans are either in a position where they got to go find a veteran in free agency or find another draft pick. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where he's at.
So Zach Moss just became available in free agency at Cincinnati. He's out there. Jamal Williams, the longtime Saint and Lion. Gus Edwards, Jeff Wilson, Amir Abdullah, Chase Edmonds, Josh Kelly, who was here most recently on the practice squad and I believe a game day elevation a couple of times last season. So there are still available running backs if you feel like you need to add another one. Mm-hmm. I think the team's concern level on Tajay Spears will be proven to us by what they do next. And if they add someone, the kind of guy that they add. Mm-hmm. If they bring in Zach Moss or Chase Edmonds or someone of that profile, perhaps that suggests they feel like they need someone who's going to start the year on the active roster versus just a body to get you through camp. Because you do have backups. You have Jamar Jefferson and Jordan Mims at this point. Like, you've brought in some running backs during camp. I would not be shocked if they brought in another one at this point. I think it gives a really big opportunity to Julius Chestnut and Khalil Mullings to be RB2 for the time being. Oh. And those two guys with a good joint practice week in Atlanta can maybe encourage the team to not bring in someone that they feel like is going to be RB2 if Tajay's not available to start the season.
Yeah.
I don't think Tajay's career is by any means over in Tennessee. We got that comment in the F&M Bank chat saying,
I saw that.
Well, Tajay's career is unfortunately over here. Well, that's not fair. That's not fair. He didn't tear his ACL. No. He's not out for the season. He is potentially still going to start the season on the active roster. It remains to be seen how he bounces back from it. But it is not a good start to a critical season for a guy that really needs to perform this year to earn his keep on this roster.
And the other part for Tajay is this. Tajay likes to play a physical game. He likes to go in between the tackles from time to time. You seeing him on that screenplay, Will, like he bursts through like none other, man. Like his ability to move forward and move the chains is super dynamic, which is why I somewhat worry about the ankle, because when you have guys that are explosive as he is, like them not being 100% can affect them, and it just lingers, and mentally it takes them down a little bit further than I think we recognize sometimes as people watching him. So he's done everything you need to. We've been out to training camp. Well, we have seen him walk out, and I know he walks barefooted. And there's a science behind that where you strengthen the muscles in your feet and stuff like that. But again, football injuries happen. And for guys that need to be available and honestly got a big year in front of him, it makes me as somebody that's watching Tajay go through this for the second year in a row, side-eye him a little bit more. It's like, where can we eventually count on you through the duration of this season? Do you want to pour more into Khalil Mullings, Julius Chestnut? Do you want to have a yin and yang style of backfield instead of having two of the similar guys between him and Tony Pollard? So that's the decision I feel like Coach Callahan, at least as a head coach, at least as an offensive coordinator, have to sit down with his staff and say, what are we trying to do as an offense? Do we think we can count on Tajay Spears, or do we need to start pouring more into Julius Chestnut or Khalil Mullings? That, to me, I think is probably a conversation that has to happen for this offensive staff.
Apparently, Amir Abdullah was with the 49ers. Somebody needs to tell Spot Track that their available free agent list of running back is out of date. But anyway.
Jeff Wilson also signed with the 49ers.
Who?
Jeff Wilson.
Okay.
Jeez.
Thanks, Spot Track. Get Mike Shadidi on the phone. He's a friend of the show. Zach Moss is available, though, and that would be the guy I think you would bring in if you're bringing someone in that you felt like you needed to make the team and be your contingency plan at RB2.
Yeah. What is your concern level? I'll say mine. If we're going to 10, I'm about a 6.5 on Tajay as far as availability.
I was going to say the same.
Perception. Yeah.
It's unfortunate. I think Tajay has entered this preseason with a bit of a different mindset. I mean that in a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this offense that fans saw a little bit of, that's built for Cam, really fits Tajay well, and his ability to run out of the shotgun and fit into small spaces and make quick cuts in between the tackles.
Yep.
And his speed around the edge. But we'll see. I mean, maybe this is a blip on the radar and something that slows him down in preseason that he can bounce back from, but it is not a positive start to a critical season. He's got a 4-year deal. This is not a contract year for Tajay Spears, but it is the year, as Mike Borgonzi has said, and Chad Brinker have said, that you prove yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And in year 3, you learn whether or not a player is on the list of guys you want to bring back for contract extensions once they are done with their rookie deals. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately for Tajay Spears, although this isn't a contract year, it feels like it a little bit. Because Tony Pollard's got a lot of money attached to his deal that'll start to come off the books in 2026. And this is the year for Tajay Spears to prove that he can be RB1. And it's hard to do that with another injury to start the season.
And the way he just couldn't shake it last year, that's why for me, I'm putting him at about a 6.5 out of 10 of concern, because last year he could not shake these injuries. It was something else each and every week or every other week. And that's why I say, at what point does this staff, try to pivot if they have to, or at least have a separate plan for if Tajay isn't available? Because Tony Pollard, I mean, he's your premier back, but you don't want him taking all of those hits, because last year I felt like he ended the season beat down. He ended up getting 1,000 yards, but I feel like there could be more meat on the bone if he has somebody that can really give him a break from time to time. Yeah. So Khalil Mullings has to grow up. You know what I'm saying? Like Julius Chestnut has to show his value, or to your point, Will, they can go shopping.
Larry on YouTube says, let Restrepo get some burn at running back.
My brother in Christ. My brother in the YouTube chat. You call in, Larry.
What?
Larry, call in and say that, okay? Say that on the air so we can hear your voice, Larry. That's what I'm talking about, Larry. I can't believe these people this morning, Will.
Zach Moss, released by Cincinnati July 30th. He was placed on the non-football injury list at the start of camp with a neck injury sustained last season. So that's the reality of the situation at running back right now. And Xavier Restrepo will not be part of it.
Yeah, Larry, call in and say that without laughing, okay? That's what I want to hear him do right now. Well, absolutely not, man.
Coming up, do the Titans have a backup quarterback problem? We'll discuss it next.
It's Ramon Foster for Low T Center. Guys, you already know Synergex and Low T Center have been changing lives of men across the country for over a decade. Testosterone replacement therapy has helped men get their energy back, regain confidence, save their marriages, and help overcome symptoms associated with depression. It's truly life-changing, but also for the women. Did you know that women with hormonal imbalances experience many of the same symptoms of men with low testosterone? And guys, you know how frustrating that can be. For the first time ever, Low T Center is now offering hormone replacement therapy for women. Low T doesn't just affect men. In fact, testosterone can benefit women as well. Other treatment options are available available to help women balance their hormones and bring back balance to their life. With in-center and at-home treatment options available for women, find out which one is right for you when you speak to one of our providers about injections, topical creams, and pellets, man. Ladies, you can come to any center, get a test that includes a full hormone panel and further analysis to treat the whole patient. If you're looking for labs and how you feel, to create a personalized hormone therapy just for you, okay? Listen to me. To go ahead and get your life back, you got to visit one of these Synergex or Low T centers, okay? For more information about men getting their lives back or balancing women's hormones for a better you, or to book an appointment, head over to fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com, and you'll be glad you did.
Have a plumbing issue at home? Whether it is a leaky faucet, a clogged drain, or a water heater that's gone cold, the plumbing professionals at Lee Company have your back. What's going on? It's Will Bowling. Lee Company is available 24/7 year-round, and Lee Company's licensed technicians can save you time, money, and all the stresses that come with an ill-timed plumbing issue. Contact their award team at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com for award-winning service from the folks who have been trusted for over 80 years in Middle Tennessee. Since 1944, open 24/7 when things are ill-timed, when things aren't working the way that they're supposed to. Well, the beauty of Lee Company is they can be out to help you at any time. They have 1,700 employees. They're involved in our communities, and they are all around Middle Tennessee. 615-567-1000 is the number to call, or you can head online to leecompany.com. That's Lee Company, all you need. Maxed out on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You could pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Will Bowling. Get cash out now without touching your low rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Listen, your home equity is yours, so use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto, 615-499-5780 for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto, A-plus rated by the BBB, nearly 2,500 five-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 615-499-5780 online at loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. Get debt relief now, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. On approved credit, NMLS, consumeraccess.org. Ramon Will, 104.5 The Zone is fueled by Scooter's Coffee. Quarterback, the big topic of discussion, as always, right?
Always.
In the world of football. 615-737-1045 from Cam Ward's 2 drives, including the 1 touchdown drive for the Tennessee Titans in Saturday's 29-7 loss to Tampa. We saw 2 other quarterbacks, Ramon Foster. And we saw Tim Boyle put together a 0.6 quarterback rating.
That's tough.
Brandon Allen goes 6 of 12 for 62 yards, was sacked once, threw 1 pick, 30.6 QB rating. Tim Boyle, 4 of 13 for 24 yards, 2 interceptions, and the 0.6 quarterback rating. Cam Ward played 2 drives and led the team in passing. 5 for 8, 67 yards, quarterback rating of 89.1. 615-737-1045. We give the number because we asked Ramon Foster, do the Titans have a backup quarterback problem? What say you?
I say, to be quite honest, the answer is yes. But is it problematic? No, in my personal opinion. They do have one.
Break that one down for me.
Do the quarterbacks have a backup quarterback problem? Yes, they do, because the guys that you haven't done a whole lot in their careers anyway. So if they're in the game, then the season is screwed over for the most part anyway, right? You hope that the guys surrounding these quarterbacks, if either one of them have to go in, have to elevate them. You're not looking for an elevation of Brandon Allen and Tim Boyle to making this team better. And what I say by this and what I mean, is it problematic for the long stretch? The answer is no. This team isn't in a position where I feel like it's built for those guys to win in general anyway. This isn't a Cam Ward. I said to you on the break, the way you look at this situation is these guys were brought in to be non-threatening assistants to what Cam Ward is as a football player. They're supposed to see and evaluate him themselves while also trying to help this team as much as they possibly can. And with the idea, Will, to get to the back end of it, that this isn't going to be a surprise if they get in, if they suck. Is what I'm getting at, too. I'm not thinking these guys are elevators of the play. When you put them in the football games, they have to be surrounded and protected. And this past weekend, with the guys that they played in outside of Brandon Allen, I look at them and say the group that they were playing with didn't help them a whole lot. The threes did not help out Tim Boyle at all, too. Coach Callahan said it in his press conference when we heard it a little bit earlier. He was like, they were behind. They had to throw the football, didn't have an offensive line in front of them to help assist him in those moments. If those guys are in, Will, and throughout any part of this season, I think it helps this team more with the draft pick than expect them to go in and carry this team to the finish line.
So you care more about if Cam Ward, for whatever reason, isn't playing, let's lose the right way versus evaluating the other 10 guys of the offense?
Well, if those 2 guys are in, yes, I care more about that. Like, do you want to go win the football games? Yes, 100%. But most times, if the backup quarterback is going in the game anyway, your percentages have to be way lower.
I think it's tough.
General.
I think it's tricky because on one hand, yes, you're right. If Cam Ward was to be unavailable for any reason, you feel like you have a better chance of securing a high draft pick and getting Cam Ward his Jamar Chase the way Joe Burrow after an injury. Brandon Allen went in for Cincinnati, managed the offense, but did not elevate them to a point where they were winning a bunch of games, and they got him Jamar Chase in Cincinnati after Joe Burrow went down with an injury his rookie season. On the flip side, there are other young players in this offense who need to develop and improve. There is a duo of wide receivers in Chimere Dike and Elikiah Manor who would benefit from better quarterback play to prepare them for a big year 2 in 2026 when you hope that you are in a more competitive place and a position to really chase in the AFC South. So I see both sides of it. I tend to agree with you that it wouldn't be beneficial for the Titans to put a quarterback out there that does not do them any favors for the future, other than make it harder to acquire talent for your young QB. This was Brian Callahan speaking yesterday about Cam Ward and about the position that Tim Boyle was put in on Sunday afternoon.
First Cam. There's definitely Cam's. Cam certainly hasn't arrived yet. We got a lot of things still we're working on. I thought it was a good start for him. Encouraging, it was productive. There's a couple of things that we're going to keep kind of grinding on. I think still working on getting the ball out fast, still working on the timing part of it. I think it was good to feel some live action there to feel what that feels like for real. But overall, pretty good. But there's certainly plenty of things that we're still working on with Cam. So that process is still ongoing. As far as the backup quarterbacks go, I think some of it was circumstantial. I thought Brandon did some good things. He gets an unlucky tip ball, which is looks bad on the stat sheet, but he did some stuff that was about in line with what I expect of him. And then Tim got put in a bit of a tough spot, especially at the end there. We go down 2 scores and we're trying to drop back and throw the ball a bunch, and I didn't really want to get to that position, but put him in harm's way probably more than you'd like to for a preseason game. So, but they both got to get better. They both got to do things better. And good thing is we got a lot of weeks here still to go, and that's one opportunity for them, and we got 2 more coming up.
Is that fair, Ramon, to say Tim Boyle was put in a bad spot?
He was. There's a sense of pride of trying to win. To your point, Will, about trying to have guys show in a good way. Like, it absolutely sucks for an offensive lineman to go in and you're down 2+ scores, and all you are doing is going backwards. Like, the defense can pin their ears back, and they did, and create pressure and put you in worse situation than you actually are in. It's hard passing in this league. And then, of course, you're not trying to be in a position where you just run the ball. There is a component of being competitive that you have to be in football games, but the best way to do that is to throw the football from time to time. And that group that he had in front of him just didn't give him the time, or Tampa was able to just put pressure on him or the wide receivers to where they could not get open. That was, again, a test that I feel like the group up front failed. And to be quite honest with you, it was set up for failure before they even got in there. They couldn't get anything going offensively to end the half. And then, of course, coming out, you put yourself in a position where you were 4th and 2, and you end up throwing the football out the back of the end zone. These were the reasons why Tim Boyle looked the way he did, too. Now, his throws didn't look all that great. I mean, 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you do when you throw the football as much as they did at the time, at that point in the game.
Here's where I'm at with Tim Boyle. He's essentially a part of the coaching staff, Tim Boyle. I think this is Brian Callahan giving Tim more than just the regular benefit of the doubt, because Brian Callahan can see what I think the vast majority of us can't. Well, what all of us can't is the value Tim Boyle brings in the meeting room. You talk to people over that facility, Ramon, and Tim Boyle's value is in what he is showing Cam Ward and the quarterbacks in the meeting rooms. And that can be okay. Tim Boyle is not someone that I think is going to play a regular season snap for the Tennessee Titans in 2025. And I say that with all due respect, because I do think Tim Boyle provides value. Just because we can't see it doesn't mean that it is not happening. Yeah. There is an element of game planning and getting ready for the opponent that I think that he gives you. Ramon, for quarterbacks that were on your roster in Pittsburgh, how much game plan value can a backup or even third-string practice squad veteran quarterback give the starter? How much value did Josh Dobbs, Mason Rudolph, Charlie Batch give that had nothing to do with actually playing football games?
They were player coaches on the sideline. Whatever the OC or the head coach did not see, quarterback to quarterback, they could relay certain things to them. The wide receivers speak to those guys, or they can be the mouthpiece to go ask guys, hey, what are you guys getting that I need to tell the quarterback or the starter? You know what I'm saying? That type of stuff happened right there. Again, you want guys like Brandon Allen, respectfully, and Tim Boyle, who are non-threatening, to where when they go ask those questions, you're not feeling like they're infringing upon your guys to take your job. That's the other side of this situation for Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans. He's the man. There's nobody else that matters more than him, and those guys recognize that type of stuff, Will. So they see coverages way better than a coach may see them from time to time. They see the flow of the game being a little bit different. They may have seen a running back be able to leak to the edge, and he'd be able to tell the starting quarterback, hey, you should keep your eye on this. There's value in those dudes, man. That's the reason you tend to see nowadays these guys have career backups, right? Like, they make careers out of it. I think Jameis is getting to that point right now. Why? Because he's able to relate to what Justin Fields need in New York. You know, like that stuff right there matters. No, that's a different team right there. It's Giants versus
Giants with Russell Wilson and Jackson Dart.
Jackson Dart, but you see these guys be in positions to where they can relate to these guys peer-to-peer as opposed to coach to player in those sentiments, Will.
Zach Lyons is in our chat, says showing them what not to do, sure, in terms of coaching. Just because you can't do it yourself doesn't mean you don't understand where the ball needs to go.
Yeah.
How many elite NFL quarterbacks are head coaches in the NFL right now?
How many elite
NFL quarterbacks?
None.
Sometimes you are so physically gifted that it makes up for what you, as a processing perspective, can't teach.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a reason why Tom Brady struggled a little bit last year as a broadcaster. Just because he can do something himself does not always mean that he can show you in a clear and concise way the answers to the test.
Yeah.
There has got to be value. Sometimes, I mean, look at what Dan Orlovsky is doing on ESPN right now. Dan Orlovsky was not an elite quarterback on the field, and he would admit that if he was sitting in here with us right now. But he can tell you where the ball needed to go and how it needs to get there and what the defense is trying to do to you. He might have just respectfully not had the physical traits and ability to really click on what he wanted to do. Second thing is, Brandon Allen was not as bad as a lot of you guys think he was on Saturday. He wasn't.
He took care of the ball.
I think we are lumping in Brandon Allen and Tim Boyle together. Oh, he had the one turnover too, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
We are lumping in Tim Boyle and Brandon Allen as the same level of performance on Saturday. That's unfair to Brandon Allen. Brandon Allen was not great. Brandon Allen did not have a 0.6 quarterback rating. Brandon Allen's 3 drives. First drive, Tajay Spears goes backwards 5 yards on first down. Passing complete to Elikiah Manor on the right side, then a 13-yard screen pass to Spears, punt. Second drive. Here's what happened on the second drive. And maybe I have a unique perspective on this, Ramon, because I was there on the sideline and saw it. Brandon Allen's headset went out for the last two plays of the second drive of the game.
Yeah.
So they go down the field, a couple of good throws to extend that drive. He finds, I believe it was DMR on a third down, able to march the team down the field. They get in the low red zone. On third down and short, Khalil Mullings had a run up the middle where I thought Khalil could have put his head down and gotten north and south. He shuffled his feet a little bit east and west and got stopped. Sets up fourth down at 1.5 or so. Brandon Allen was going to Brian Callahan with about 20 seconds of the play clock, making the circle sign next to his headset, the universal, I can't hear you.
I can't hear you.
Give the play again, I can't hear you. And he got the call about 12 seconds left on the play clock. So Brandon Allen had to run to Brian Callahan like a high school quarterback to hear the call right beside Brian Callahan, ran back in the huddle, and he went through pre-snap reads, Ramon, that should be happening for about 15 to 20 seconds in 5.
Right.
So then Brandon Allen gets in the gun with 8 on the play clock. He's got about 5 seconds to make pre-snap reads. And again, Dan Orlovsky even tweeted this the other day. The number one thing you are thinking as a quarterback is, what are my problems and how do I solve them pre-snap? He had about 3 seconds to do that. I would have liked to see either him or Brian Callahan to just take a timeout there. You either take a timeout or, I mean, really, there's no or. I think you take a timeout there, critical play, 4th down and 2. I think in the regular season, Ramon, they take a timeout in that moment. Hey, the headset's not working. Let me get a helmet that's got comms. Put that back on and let's go again and see. So that was a critical miss by Brandon Allen because he threw the ball away out of the back of the end zone on 4th and 2. But also, he had about 5 seconds to make pre-snap reads where a timeout would have been taken in the regular season. On his third drive, the guy made a one-handed pick on a deflected ball at the line of scrimmage. What are you going to do?
That guy surprised he made that play. He's surprised.
Is Brandon Allen an elite backup quarterback? No. Is he one of the top 10 backup quarterbacks in this league? He's not one of these young developing guys that can go win you a bunch of games. He's a backup quarterback. What do you expect? What do you expect? Lumping Brandon Allen with Tim Boyle together is irresponsible on Saturday night for me.
Yes, it is, man. If you look at his delivery of the football, it is there. You look at his poise he has to be, it is there too.
He's fine.
And I'm not trying to say you should lose on purpose, but if Cam's not in, your belief in the team winning anyway is going to be low regardless. So what you do in those situations, if you have other guys step up in these moments to where there isn't a major drop-off. Again, your quarterback one is Cam Ward, period. The hope that these guys are going to take you to the Super Bowl as Cam is out is far-fetched The plan is, of course, and there is an art to being able to sustain and build a franchise. You got to also still remember, for the people that want a stud backup quarterback, is you're still in a rebuild. There's a budget to that, too. That budget also means the quality that you can sign in backup positions. And the other part of that is to see you in May or April, when you may potentially, if Cam is out for a pinky on the year, right, that you have a top 5 pick again to go get your Jamar Chase, to go get your to go get your linebacker or your edge that this team is hoping and wishing for. It sucks, but this is just how it goes. And it seems to me, Will, voice is screeching right now. It seems to me that Mike Borgonzi and Chad Brinker have that mindset. You build a team through the draft. I saw the aggregated tweets again this past weekend of failed first-rounders for this team. And I'm in group chats with people that are talking about, wow, I can't believe they lost that many draft picks, or they failed on 3 straight first-round draft picks. Well, this is part of the plan to continue to build up from the ground up. You don't want to be buying free agents every year is what I'm getting at.
It's not as simple as just go get guys who can play at backup quarterback. The last thing the Titans need is the Monday morning quarterback and the fan base clamoring for another quarterback when Cam Ward struggles for a stretch.
Imagine if Russell Wilson was there as a backup. You'd have that conversation. Well, put Russ in. Like, you don't want that.
And you're not going to go get a young guy, because there's no point. Anyone that's worth draft capital is just weakening your team in the future. I mean, honestly.
It is.
Look, the defensive line gave up almost 200 rushing yards. You think they wouldn't like some more day 3 picks to go get backup defensive linemen that can fill up this roster? Yeah, of course they would.
Yeah.
Don't waste that on another quarterback that's just going to sit behind Cam Ward when you have a backup quarterback in Brandon Allen. Brandon Allen is not the problem.
He's fine.
He's fine.
Yeah, he's fine.
And that's what you want from a backup quarterback behind a star rookie that you hope is the face of your franchise. You need someone that's not going to upset the apple cart, but can, in that quarterback room, help Cam Ward be in the best position to succeed.
Yeah, I'm not panicking over this one.
No, it's also one game. I mean, I know it's nice to be able to react to football again, but it's one preseason game. They're going to play on Friday.
Yeah.
Quick turnaround. Your thoughts next. 615-737-1045. Do the Titans have a backup quarterback problem? We'll get to your calls next. Mm-hmm.
It's Ramon Foster for Medical House Calls. Good people, the website, as I just told you, medicalhousecalls.com, and it's healthcare designed for your life. They're open 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. They also do same-day appointments and next-day guaranteed also. You can go to medicalhousecalls.com, or you can call or text this number, 615-838-2375 to book with them. Again, here's the thing. They have active recovery IVs from your workouts. You can also focus on, man, listen to me, fellas, I know you hate going to the waiting room. I know you hate wasting time or packing up the family to go sit in the emergency room for something. Well, you can call or text Medical House Calls, and the teams will assess you within minutes on what you need. You can book your visit after a quick scheduled call. And again, the best thing about it is they will come to your house or wherever you at. Every kind of sickness, infection, injury, in-home labs, testing, and more for a flat fee. You can get an evaluation, a full exam, treatment plan, and prescriptions if you need. And again, I just told you about the IV therapy. That's a part of it too. Whether you're fighting the flu or you need a performance-enhancing cocktail, or just simply you just need some meds to get you back because you've had a long weekend, there's something there for you also. Again, we know your time is precious and schedules can be crazy. To again, book with Medical House Calls, visit the website at medicalhousecalls.com or call the number or text it at 615-838-2375.
Moving in Nashville is a challenge, and you need someone who understands Nashville, understands you, understands the local market and your goals. You need my friend Bernie Gallerani. Hey, it's Will Bowling. Bernie Gallerani guarantees to sell your home in 30 days or less, or he'll buy it. It's that simple. No risk to you. Bernie will let you out of the contract at any time. He is the real estate agent who has the 30-day guarantee to sell your home. And if not, he will buy it from you. So if you're ready to sell your home, start by knowing its true value. Bernie Gallerani's new home value estimator is fast, free, and easy. Just go to BernieGallerani.com. Right at the top of the homepage, click on how much is your home really worth. Enter your address, have that answer in only 30 seconds. You may be sitting on a gold mine and not even realize it. Bernie Gallerani provides the very best service to you, and he's so confident in his ability to help you. He's giving you his cell phone number, 615-428-2644. You can head online, BernieGallerani.com. Just Google Bernie Gallerani Real Estate. He is going to take care of you, help you relocate, and give you that 30-day guarantee. Call him at 615-428-2644. That's Bernie Gallerani Real Estate, online at BernieGallerani.com. Ramon Will, 104.5 The Zone is fueled by Scooters Coffee, locally owned in Middle Tennessee, in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. The Titans have a backup quarterback issue. After Saturday's 29-7 loss against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Bam is in Nashville. Up next on that topic. Hey, Bam.
What up, Bam?
What's good, y'all?
Morning.
Man, glad we got some type of football back. I'm thinking I'm looking at this in two different perspectives from the backup quarterback position. Like you said, God forbid, knock on wood, something happened to Cam, okay, we get a, top 5 pick, we're back in there. But then the other side, the fan side of me says, man, it's a long season to not really have competitive football or something. You know what I'm saying? It's a long way to go to be back in the same situation that we're in now, to go back to the top, not making the playoffs, not doing this, not doing it. That's a long way. So it's kind of a catch-22, and you really don't necessarily know how to feel about it because, it's like, all right, is there a way that we might look competitive with Cam? Let's just say we're up, we're having a decent season, Cam goes down. Do we keep fighting for the playoffs or do we just roll over? It's just kind of one of them things, man. So it's like I don't necessarily really know how to feel about it, and I hope this don't come off sounding like, it's kind of a confusion thing, honestly. So, I feel like we do need it, but then again, it's like, do we want to go through that whole off season again of not being whatever? So I hang up and listen to what I got.
No doubt.
Thank you, Bam. I just don't think the Titans would be tanking by having Brandon Allen back up Cam Ward. No. Brandon Allen is a backup quarterback in the NFL. What do you expect?
So it's fascinating looking at it. The closest comparison we have, Will, is what? It's Cincinnati and Joe Burrow.
Yeah, it's Brandon Allen and Cincy, 100%.
And that year, right? And what's crazy about it, Joe Burrow lasted 10 games before then. And even more so, that team, Will, the way it was constructed, was not built to be a championship team in 2020, the year that Joe Burrow was drafted. It wasn't. So even with Joe Burrow being the starter at quarterback, I think he ended up starting 10 games, ended up playing in 9 whole. And for him, his record that year was 2-7-1. Even as a rookie quarterback, even as the number 1 overall pick, even as a guy that has all this optimism about what he can bring to Cincinnati. So he goes out. Brandon Allen does come in. They also had, too, Ryan Finley. What I'm getting at is this. These guys that go in after you started with how this team is constructed right now, Bam, aren't going to give you much regardless. I don't even know if it's even Teddy Bridgewater at this point, Andy Dalton. I don't know even if you had those guys. Like, they make you feel warm and fuzzy as a team that going into the stadium, oh, yes, we got a real strong opportunity to win. But even still, you find yourself in a position to where those guys with this team, the way it's set up, will respectfully, I think, still have you losing games that you probably think you can win.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality of what this league is. I was telling somebody the other day, my last year in Pittsburgh, I knew. I love winning. I love the team. But as a player, I knew we weren't built as a Super Bowl team. Mm-hmm. And that's just the side of me for, the fan. You cheer your team on with the idea that it's going to get better. There's a plan for the future. And looking at what Cincinnati has right now, I know the defense is not holding up their end of it. But that is a team that can be very, very dangerous if they bring it in together defensively. So that's what you want.
Let's talk about the quarterback that fans have really wanted in Jake Browning. Jake Browning is in a QB2 battle in Cincinnati right now. You know what Jake Browning's stat line was against the Eagles in their preseason debut? 6 of 14, 62 yards, a sack, and a pick. And he's the one that's seen as, that's the backup quarterback that stepped in and was pretty good when Joe Burrow went down. And he was 6 of 14 for 62 yards, a sack, and a pick. It is hard to have the full picture in context of how much of the scheme is available to your backup and third-string quarterback and how vanilla or complicated the defense is that these guys are playing against. That is why not every preseason game is created equally. It's why you have to take these results with a grain of salt. Now, that being said on Jake Browning, if Desmond Ridder wins the QB2 battle in Cincinnati and Browning can become available, that is the guy I think Brian Callahan and the Titans would bring in to be the backup quarterback. Because there's familiarity there. And again, because nobody in the upper deck is yelling, put in Browning if Cam Ward has a bad game.
Right.
Because that's the basis of what you need from a backup quarterback with a young rookie. Do you know the system? Can you help coach the young guy? And is anybody in the upper deck yelling for you to play if the starter struggles? No.
Right.
He doesn't meet that criteria, meaning in a good way. So that is the one I would look for if the Titans feel like they get to a point at the end of the season, into the preseason, where he is available. But again, even that guy wasn't like Brandon Allen had a better stat line than that. Yeah. And that's the guy everyone else wants.
I just didn't know we were in the world of hoping that the backup quarterback was going to be the savior of all things.
And that's the thing. Like, if Cam Ward gets hurt, then this season is down the drain. Like, I am more concerned somebody made this point on YouTube a minute ago. I fully agree. I think backup running back is a bigger concern right now than backup quarterback.
No doubt.
Because backup running back's expected to get 125, 150 touches this year. Because you want more of the division of labor from Tony Pollard to your second guy. Like, that workload needs to be shared more this year in a perfect world than it was last year. Mm-hmm. That's a bigger question mark for me with Tajay Spears hurt than it is backup quarterback.
Yeah.
It didn't feel good to watch that game in the second half on Saturday, but welcome to preseason NFL football. It's not always pretty when so many backups get in there.
And then, of course, we saw it, too. We were just the interception that happened with Brandon Allen, that right there sucks. But then you also have a situation when Tim Boyle does go into the game, he's set back by John Njoku getting a false start. And then, of course, instead of it being 3rd and 3, it turns into 3rd and 8. Like, that changes a whole lot of stuff. And then you got an incompletion and you're punting again. Like, these are the types of things that happen in these situations where the quality of play around the backup quarterback don't elevate them. Again, the backup quarterback, in my personal opinion, has always been a guy that needs a whole lot of assistance. And your cast of characters right now can't elevate them enough with the group that he's playing with, especially Tim Boyle, with him playing with the threes or the guys that are really trying to clamor for roster spots at this point or special teams roles.
615-737-1045. More of your thoughts when we come back. Brian Callahan liked what he saw from 2 young players on Saturday. We'll tell you who those guys are. Plus, Ramon Foster watched Travis Hunter and the Jags take on the Steelers in person and watched a 70-yard field goal get hit as well. We'll get his thoughts on that coming up next.
Summer is a time to feel and look your best, but I'm not talking about your abs or tan. Guys, I'm talking about your hair. Restore that bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning during Advanced Hair's once yearly summer savings event. Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day, and they guarantee your new hair will grow also. There is absolutely no one in hair restoration I trust more than Advanced Hair. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar. Advanced Hair's summer sale event is on for a limited time, so get the details and schedule your free consultation today. You can call the number 629-348-HAIR. One-day treatment, life-changing results. With Advanced Hair, your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Check out the incredible before and afters and take advantage of the best offer ever. That's 629-348-HAIR, or visit the website at advancedhair.com. Hey, it's Ramon Foster, man, and I was done with mosquitoes ruining my backyard fun, and I found a solution. Let me tell you about Mosquito Max from All American Pest Control. All American's Mosquito Max is your one-stop shop proven solution for both mosquitoes and year-round pest prevention. Save money and say goodbye to the itchy bites. All American's Mosquito Max includes monthly mosquito misting, spider web removal, and perimeter pest control around your home. So make the change and finally enjoy your backyard. Don't let mosquitoes ruin your summer. Go to yuckbugs.com. That's yuckbugs.com and make the switch to All American Pest Control today.
It is 8:01. Good Monday morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Titans are in Atlanta this week and off of practice today, but they will be back on the practice field tomorrow and Wednesday for joint practice with the Atlanta Falcons. But the Titans will be without running back Tajay Spears, who was forced out of the game early Saturday night with a high ankle sprain. Head coach Brian Callahan provided an update on the injury in yesterday's press conference, saying that Spears is expected to miss the next couple weeks, including the final 2 preseason games, but he has high hopes that he will be ready for Week 1 in Denver. In other NFL news, an injury situation worth monitoring in Philadelphia as Eagles Pro Bowl left guard Landon Dickerson was carted to the locker room during practice yesterday after suffering an apparent right leg injury and unable to put much weight on it. He is scheduled for an MRI today to get results. In golf yesterday, Justin Rose rallies late and forced a 3-hole playoff with J.J. Spaun to win the FedEx St. Jude Championship in Memphis. Rose made up a 3-shot deficit in the final 5 holes, making 2 birdies in the playoff and secured his 12th PGA Tour title and first FedEx St. Jude Championship victory. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Second half of the show, hour 3, getting started on a lovely Monday in Middle Tennessee. 615-737-1045. Streaming live on 1045 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Ramon Foster, Will Bowling, Justin Hawkins making the show happen. Dr. Kevin Dyson going to join us coming up in 15 minutes. He of Titans Talkback, of Titans local coverage here in the Zone as well. We'll get his thoughts on what he saw on Saturday night as the Titans in a preseason opener fall to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 29-7. Going to hear from Brian Callahan in just a few minutes, Ramon, about a couple of defensive players he thought stood out. But first, for those who were not up early with us this morning, what were your initial thoughts and reaction on the way Cam Ward made a first impression on Saturday night?
I thought he shook the cobwebs off on that first series right there. Had opportunities there also, but just didn't capitalize on it. I do see him being able to roll. It looked like he likes to roll right from time to time, which is his throwing motion. I know a quarterback that always rolled left in those situations right there. The team, I guess the receivers have to learn to be friendly with him if that's how he's going to operate moving forward. Now, second series, I thought he was surgical. I did think he took a risk a time or two down the field. Excuse me.
What?
I belched right there.
Oh, you hit it well. You're fine.
All right, for sure.
Tell it on yourself.
I am. You're going to see him the way I feel like he approaches the game. If there's a shot to be taken, he's taking it. Now, that may involve some risk, and he's going to have to learn when to dial back or either get a little bit more touch. But I told you earlier after we got off air, I feel like the wide receivers have also been very friendly to his passing style. They're coming back to the ball in a major way with him, and I don't feel like he have guys waiting, which tells me he's communicated with those dudes. Come back here, be on this spot. I'm going to give you the ball where you need it. And only the coolest part, too, about him, watching him this weekend, he's putting the ball only where his guys can get it, specifically if it's to the sideline or low. Now, the one that was almost picked off, shoot, okay?
Yeah, cover 2, looking to split the gap between the safety and the corner got more depth and was not playing a hard flat.
Right.
Actually kept tracking back and got a little bit deeper than he expected. Learning moment.
You're seeing threats, though, at wide receiver, Alec Ayumena and Chimere Dike also. I love seeing those dudes be threat on the other side of the ball. Very friendly to his tight ends. Cam, for the 6 completion, 5 completions that he had, I thought was very surgical with it.
Cam Ward, 5 of 8, 67 yards, a touchdown drive on his second possession after going 3 and out on the first drive. I liked the calmness he showed in the pocket with the exception of one play. The third down on the opening drive, Brian Callahan saying yesterday the release wasn't what he wanted from the receivers, and so Cam bailed a little bit too early. He had Van Jefferson. He had a couple of guys open that would have completed the drive or continued the drive and completed a first down there. But he rolled out right, threw it away. He's also got to throw that ball away on the sideline. Don't let that ball bounce on the grass, on the green, get that in the white. So a couple of learning moments there for Cam. And it looked like, too, with a stunt on the right side of the offensive line, maybe there wasn't as much faith in his backup right guard, Andrew Rubsich, who actually handled the stunt quite well, who started instead of Kevin Zeitler, who we don't need to see Kevin Zeitler.
He's a vet, yeah.
Exactly. There's no concern there. So there were some learning moments. It wasn't perfect, but you don't expect it to be.
No.
For a rookie making his preseason debut at quarterback.
Coach mentioned this to be a lot of live reactions that he wanted to see from those guys, right? And this was one of them for Cam. Like, that is something he's going to have to watch, though, Will. If he sees trash up the middle again, these guys are fast enough and smart enough with their angles to be able to get to him on the defensive line. That's an adjustment that also has to be made. And, again, the little small thing that you mentioned, him bailing as early as he did, I thought the left side was fine and how they were protecting him. He doesn't want to make the roll right or roll into his right side a part of his tendencies. Teams are going to try to flush him that way and end up having defensive schemes set up for him, too. Now, again, that was just a one-off. You mentioned that being the first third down that he had that was somewhat problematic. But, again, everything, like you said earlier, you want answers in the preseason, even if they are bad answers.
So 2 players were shouted out by Brian Callahan yesterday. Head coach was asked about James Williams, second-year, 7th-round linebacker out of Miami, making the switch from safety, where he played in high school and college, to inside linebacker. And Brian Callahan not only answered about James, but also, unprompted, brought up Cedric Gray as another player who he thought performed well on Saturday.
Yeah, he's done a good job. I thought he set the tone really well in the opening kickoff. There was some things that he did well at the linebacker spot over the reps that he had. I thought he was productive on the ball. He had some tackles. He keeps coming along. I think him and I think Cedric is worthy of mention in the same sentence, because I thought both of those guys played a healthy amount of snaps and they did some things that were really positive and encouraging. So again, in the same vein as some of the stuff that's not as good, you take it for what it is and you're encouraged by what you see in the first preseason game, but we still got work to do and we still got to keep coming along, but happy with where those guys are at the moment.
Ramon, I think if you are looking for the biggest positives from anyone on the defensive side of the football on Saturday night, it has to start with James Williams and Cedric Gray.
Easily.
They were both excellent.
Absolutely. Cedric Gray is also a thumper, too. He laid down that tight end on the sideline, man, and was bringing the pain. Again, we spoke about earlier last week about how guys will quit on themselves. We call them dead men walking when those depth charts get released. He didn't have that approach, man. I was glad to see him work with a spirit. And not just that, you never know, to your point earlier, who's going to be out in games. You don't want to see, specifically in those positions, the inside linebacker position, guys have a drop-off. When you have a young guy and Cedric Gray that can really give it to you or give you some production, or a guy like James Williams. Like, this is fine and dandy and watching him do well, but the regular season comes, and this is a new transition for him playing inside linebacker, off-ball linebacker the way he is right now. At least you have a guy in Cedric Gray that is still competitive, still making plays for you, and if he has to step in a pinch, or you want to do some variation of a defense with these 3 guys. Like, it was fascinating. We saw a little bit of this in training camp with what we could say, watching James Williams rush off the edge, go to the line of scrimmage. This team is in a position to where they're trying to find guys to go after the quarterback, and that is him. You can have Cedric Gray up the middle. Like, there is now options for this defense, and those guys in particular. You got to give a tip of the cap to Cedric Gray for not folding on himself.
7 tackles for Cedric Gray, tied with Timmy Horn to lead the defense. James Williams had 6 tackles on defense and 1 on special teams, so 7 total for him as well. I think that is the position, Ramon, where my mind has been changed the most this offseason. I think there was reason for, maybe not concern, but reason for skepticism about the lack of experience and the amount of question marks in the inside linebacker room from top to bottom. From Cody Barton as the starter to James Williams and Cedric Gray and Otis Reese battling to play next to him. There is reason for that to be the biggest question mark on this roster entering training camp. To me, it's nowhere close to the biggest question anymore. I feel really comfortable with what I've seen from those 2 guys. And talking with Cedric Gray postgame for Titans Radio, he is just so much more comfortable in this defense than he was this time last year. And I asked him about it and said, where is the game starting to slow down for you? Where are you starting to feel more? And he just had this big smile of like, oh my gosh. Essentially, I'm paraphrasing, said, I can't even explain to you how different it is this time around. This is still a fourth-round pick. This is still a top of the fourth-round pick. The same level of expectations that we have right now for Elikiah Manor and Chimere Dike need to be given to Cedric Gray. And it is so easy to get bored when guys are no longer rookies. But Cedric Gray, having played 7 games last season, is still, from a game-playing perspective, kind of a rookie.
Yep.
In terms of what he was able to do, the nerve issue and kind of the shoulder stuff that really bothered him last year. Played in 7 games. I still think there is a big role for him to be played. And when you put James Williams on special teams, Ramon, you're going to need a competent and solid backup because that's more risk of injury. That's more time where, hey, coach, I just ran all the way down on punt team. I need a couple plays. Like, Cedric Gray is going to play a lot of snaps for the Tennessee Titans in 2025, and I feel comfortable with the first impression that he gave us on Saturday night in Tampa.
And you know what? Since we're talking about just backups in general, I think it's fair to go ahead and give a segue to the difference between this backup linebacker position versus the backup quarterback position.
Totally different. The backup linebacker has to play.
Yes, there's a future for a guy.
That's right.
And Cedric Gray being a backup linebacker. Versus
quarterback is only one guy plays.
Those rotate, right? And there's also a rotation to those guys and expectation. Like, I think there's still a high expectation for a young 4th-round draft pick, to your point. And Cedric Gray being a great teammate and backup to what James Williams or Cody Barton got going on. There is a difference.
Right. There are 4 players on the team that only one guy plays that position.
Yeah.
Quarterback, kicker, punter, long snapper. So your backups to those positions mean totally different than any other position. Doug has been waiting to chime in. 615-737-1045 before we get to Kevin Dyson on the other side. What's up, Doug?
What up, Doug?
Hey, what's up, guys? This is actually Greg. But, one disappointment from the game was Femi, and he didn't have much pressure at all. He looked like a player still trying to learn the system. And then you look at Mike Green, who the Titans passed on, and he looked incredible. He looked like a freak that was unstoppable with pressure all over the place. And it's just really disappointing because, all I hear about this player is, oh, he's got great personality, which is what every friend who tried to hook me up with their girlfriend's friend ever told me in high school. And right now, this team doesn't need personality. We need someone who can get after the quarterback and help Jeff out, and the defense is flat.
Thank you, Greg. I appreciate it. I don't think that's fair. It's one preseason game, first of all. Secondly, Mike Green's off-field issues are the reason why he was not drafted where he was. Mike Green has major off-field question marks in terms of the quote-unquote personality concerns, and one preseason game does not overshadow the red flags that come with him and his past.
The other side of that too, Greg, real quick too, is the defensive philosophy that Denard Wilson wants to play with. We're looking at 2 different body types also. Mike Green is a smaller build, quick off the edge type of guy, very situational. You looking at Femi as being a guy that can also set the edge, but at some point develop into getting after the quarterback. So I think there's a different role for both of those guys for the teams that they're playing and the schemes that they're in too. Baltimore went after the type that fits their defense, the way I look at this. And then we're still figuring out what Denard Wilson's style is.
But one preseason game does not prove that you made the right or wrong pick. This is a 4-year pick and plan. Now, is Femi Oladejo more of a project than Mike Green?
Yeah.
100%. You drafted Femi Oladejo for what he is in 2027, not for what he is in 2025. And we can argue whether or not that was the right decision, but that's why they did it. They did not expect Femi Oladejo, a guy who's played 10 career games at edge rusher, now 11, after switching from off-ball linebacker. They did not expect him to walk in and immediately have a bag of pass rush moves and be a day one contributor. This is a rebuild, and they went with who they felt like was the better high-ceiling player who gave them the best chance to be successful because they feel like he could make it to the end of his rookie contract as well. Kevin Dyson joins us coming up next.
Two Rivers Ford want to tell you about zeros. I try to get my words right to tell you about zero too. But zero as in zero money down, zero payments for 90 days, and 0% financing for 48 months on most models, man. Oh, and zero on regularly scheduled maintenance because Two Rivers Ford is throwing in a 2-year complimentary maintenance plan with that. It's a zero summer sale event happening right now at Two Rivers Ford. And at Two Rivers Ford, their salespeople, they don't work on commission. I know this. I've seen this, which means for you, there's zero pressure when you're shopping for a vehicle. And at Two Rivers Ford, you'll get zero surprises because they are honest and transparent all the time. They're A-plus members of the Better Business Bureau, and they've been family-owned since 1983. What you see is always what you get with Two Rivers Ford, which is why Two Rivers Ford is the South's most trusted Ford dealer. So get to Two Rivers Ford with the Zero Summer Sales event today because the sale ends September 2nd. And be sure you tell them that Ramon sent you.
Ramon Will is fueled by Scooters Coffee on 104.5 The Zone, locally owned near you in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Alongside the 11-year NFL veteran Ramon Foster, I'm Will Bowling. Pleased to be joined this morning by former Tennessee Titan and Titans Talkback host. You heard him here late nights. If you were up with us with a pot of coffee on after Titans and Bucs, the doctor is in. Kevin Dyson joining us this morning. Dr. Dyson, what's up? How are you?
Hey, good morning, fellas. How you doing?
Good morning.
We are excellent, and, we're just excited to be talking football again, even if we are arguing with people about backup quarterbacks and depth and all of these things. Let's start with QB1, though, Dr. Dyson. What was your first impression of Cam Ward on Saturday?
Man, I love what I saw. I think he has command of the offense. I think there's a sense that, sometimes you feel like with rookie quarterbacks, coordinators and play callers tend to handcuff them a little bit and just give them little bits at a time. I don't get that sense with Cam. I feel like they're putting it on him and letting him see what he can do and building things around his strengths, and I think that's going to bode well for the future. I thought the offense looked pretty good with him in there, aside from that first quarter, which, nerves, first game of the year, you're trying to get a rhythm as a play caller and quarterback and things of that nature. I think they settled in that next drive. Obviously got a score out of it. But I think you look good. And I think right now the stress is who's after him. I think how good does Will Levis look right now, right? And then it's one of those things where he looks like he's obviously QB1, but now the concern is, okay, who's two? So we'll see how this goes.
How big of a concern was the Brandon Allen and Tim Boyle cameo Saturday night for you? Like, how much of the panic button are you pressing, or how much more do you need to see from those backup quarterback options?
I'm not pressing. I think coaches, they get to see the guys every day in practice and know what their capabilities are. You got to understand they're operating on different circumstances too than Cam. They don't have necessarily the offensive line in front of them, the skill guys around them that will be out there a majority of the time. There's a learning process for a lot of those guys that are fighting for roster spots. So there might be some communication issues and concerns there as far as he's waiting on a guy to run a certain route and cut it off or break it off. Just some of the things you have from a veteran to a veteran understanding of. But there was some concerns, obviously, because there was no productivity, a lot of turnovers, probably some missed checks and things that we don't even know about that didn't take place. But right now, considering it's the first preseason game, I'm not in dire straits just yet. But I do hope that we see a little bit better production, a little more consistency in week 2.
We're joined by Dr. Kevin Dyson this morning talking the Titans recap. Doc, when you look at just the overall performance of the offense, not being able to get anything going, man, what do you somewhat contribute that to? Is it a big difference or gap between what Tampa Bay's roster was, or was it just situationally not capitalizing on moments? And I know the interceptions most definitely didn't help in the second half too.
Yeah, and one of those interceptions, that's just what happens. It's unfortunate that it goes under the interception category. Guy made a great play, but, it is what it is. I think it's a little bit of everything. I think the depth on the offensive line is you got to necessarily look into that and see if you have the right pieces in there. I think both sides of the ball, the 2 and 3 guy becomes even more to the forefront in how they're able to produce. And I think whether it been their backups had a little bit better game than our backups, that seemed to be the case. I think obviously turnovers are always going to be concerned from a coaching perspective. You can't turn the football over and give yourself chances to win, especially from your quarterbacks. I think the lack of run game was concerning again. But again, we're talking about the backup offensive line, backup running backs, and things of that nature. So from the first group standpoint, obviously we didn't get a whole lot going in run game, but we did get some productivity. So that looks good. But the consistency of it from the totality of the game is what is concerning. So, this week 1 is what it is. You're a little fatigued. Your body's still adjusting. Ron, you're not fully there. You're still kind of sore from camp and from battling and practice and things of that nature. So you're not fully, truly engaged. You got a lot of guys, like a lot of backup guys who are playing all the defensive reps, all the offensive reps, most of them, not all of them, maybe most of them, and the doubling as a special teamer. So they're tired, and that people don't know that you think you're in football shape because of training camp. Now, football shape happens by the time we get to mid-September, late September. We're in football shape. Now we know how to condition our bodies and space out the rest and between plays and all that kind of thing, conserve energy and things of that nature. So this is just conditioning phase. You talk about August and preseason, but so yeah, there's some concerns, but I just want to see that growth from week 1 to week 2.
Doc, when you talk about that growth, one thing I think we did see this past weekend is Cam Ward found his guy, and that guy is Calvin Ridley, man. How significant is that for them to establish that role, and not to minimize the others, right, the other wide receivers, but that's significant, is it not, Dice?
Man, I'm gonna tell you, man, every quarterback has their safety blanket, man, and you know, we talked about Cam when he got his guy from Miami to come with him. He wanted that was his safety blanket when he was at Miami. And Xavier, so you think about Mahomes and Kelsey. You know, you have your guy that you start, your coordinators and play callers start manipulating the game plan to get that guy in position. And, you know, we talked about it Saturday night about how the coach has been intentional about pulling them to a side and working on certain things and having conversations. And Cam is getting more and more familiar with his body language, you know, and how he breaks routes off and his ability to get open where he wants the football, how can he catch it and run with it. And that communication is translating to the field, and that confidence will just continue to grow. You know, I joked about it, but it's serious, man. I'm saying, like, if you're talking about your fantasy football team, I think really might have a big year.
Dr. Kevin Dyson joining us, former Tennessee Titan. You hear him right here on 104.5 The Zone's Titans coverage as well. Dr. Dyson, when you talk about backup quarterbacks and how much guys like Tim Boyle and Brandon Allen are just almost extensions of the coaching staff, how much do backup QBs help in the meeting room? For guys that you've been in the facility with, are they essentially just kind of player coaches? How much value can they really add to a young quarterback in Cam Ward?
Man, that's a great question, man. Listen, that backup quarterback is more valuable than you know. Not only do you need that guy to be able to come in and play and still produce, that's part of it, but that calming influence, that extra set of eyes, that's not the coach. You know, coaches are going all over the place. I think about the next series, the next drive, the second half, the adjustments. And then, yeah, they're going from series to series. But to have a guy in that meeting room, your peer, somebody that's there with you, that works with you, that understands, that's that calming influence. That's that guy say, hey, man, yeah, hey, you want to see that guy was on the hash on at the snap of the ball, and he released to the middle of the field. You didn't see him. Next time we run that play, make sure you eyeball it. You know, just that communication, that player to player, extra set of eyes. And then, you know, from a player standpoint, the players out there, you say, hey, make sure, look at what this corner's doing. Look what his feet, how his feet are in line on certain pass plays or certain coverages and things like that. Let me know if I can sneak a deep ball past him, whatever. Just those communication, that constant talk with your peer, man, that's so invaluable, man. People don't understand. This is why, and Ron, to tell you, man, like, I'm always advocating for veterans, because you cannot replace experience, man. And experience is the coolest but the most valuable teacher that we have. And if you got a guy that has been in the game 10 years, or maybe I say 7 to 10, they've seen and done it all for the most part. And so being able to relate that to somebody like Cam is going to be so huge for him in his success this year.
We've been having this conversation all morning about how just because a player isn't great at doing it doesn't mean they can't teach it, right? The best players sometimes don't make good coaches because they can instinctively do something that they can't tell you how they did it. They just know that they did it.
You're right. How many Hall of Fame football players are head football coaches?
Right.
Not many.
Right.
None, right?
Not many.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And very in any sport, like Larry Bird is the only one that really comes to mind that was a little bit of both and had success at both. I'm trying to think. There's been others, but been successful at both. Larry Bird might be the only one I could think of. I mean, y'all could probably think of a few others, but really, most of those guys, they do it. They can coach you and tell you and teach you the work ethic and show you how the blueprint to potentially get to your best version of yourself. But some of the best teachers are some of the guys that just, like you said, they might not have the same talent level, but they know how to see things and portray them for other guys to pull the best out of them.
Former Titans receiver Kevin Dyson, our guest. So, Dr. Dyson, when you look at Xavier Restrepo and the 11 snaps that he played on Saturday night, how much of an uphill battle does he have to make this team with so little reps in the first preseason game already?
Well, I think it's a matter of how quality those reps are, too. You got to, make some plays. He's going to, in these next 2 preseason games, I would assume he's going to get a little bit more and more opportunities. And then you got to make those plays. I'll go back to when Drew Bennett was kind of on the bottom of the roster, and then they started pulling us a little bit more and more from out of the preseason game and giving the guys, the 3, 4, 5 backups opportunities to play, and he started making plays. And then he got more and more reps, and he kept making plays. And he's on the roster and had a great career here in Tennessee. And so it's about making the most of the opportunities when you do get them. I think part of that, we're talking about receiver and his ability, but I also think he's got to look at what can he do on special teams. Is he a gunner? Is he a return man? Is he coming off the edge, pump block? Like all the different things he's going to have to, when you're talking about being that 5th or 6th guy on that receiver roster spot, what other value do you have? And I think there's some value in the fact that he has a natural rapport with the QB1. I mean, you got to take that in consideration. There's also a level of comfort that you want your quarterback to be in, and obviously we talked about that with him and Cam Ridley, but there's already a natural rapport with him and Xavier. So we'll see how it translates this week, but I expect that he'll get a little bit more opportunities, and he's got to make the most of them, because this roster from a receiver standpoint, which hadn't been the conversation I think that we've had, is pretty substantial. It's pretty deep. Mm-hmm. I think you look at the guys they've drafted, the big bodies, the guys that can make plays in the red zone, 50-50 balls, plus the additions to guys, some veterans. I think, man, this is going to be a tough call to see who and how many receivers they keep.
Dyson, that same situation, you speak about opportunity. Football's a beautiful game with a dirty business behind it, and that's where I go with the Tyjae Spears conversation, man. I know it's a football injury, high ankle, but, his ability to shake injuries has to be a part of his game moving forward after he heals from this, man. What does this put Tyjae Spears when it comes down to the perception of him moving forward right now, Dyson, your opinion?
Man, I hate that for him because, sometimes you got bad luck, and I'm a testament to that. So, I think his value is unspoken, right? We know that. He's good in the run game. He's good in the passing game. He's even gotten better in protection, things of that nature. He's a great locker room guy. He's a hard worker. He's respected by his teammates in the front office and things of that nature. And it's just unfortunate he's got a string of bad luck, and it dates back to even his college days. So, but the value is there, and I think his productivity, when healthy, warrants him opportunities. Now, you on the converse side of that is what we saw with Bucs. The production wasn't necessarily there. Also, you put in the health history, and it was just a natural, okay, let's cut ties. I don't necessarily see that with Tyjae just yet. I just hope that, because we know high ankle sprains can linger for longer than 4 to 6 weeks. They can linger for a long time because they take a long time to heal. And so just see when he comes back and how productive he can be will be crucial for him and him going forward as far as being a Tennessee Titan over the next 2 or 3 years.
Even with the joint practices, do you need to see a little bit more in stadium from the Titans, man, as they go up against Atlanta this upcoming week? Because I think they're supposed to have multiple days of practice this time around. But do you still need the lights and the cameras for Cam to perform in stadiums?
Maybe a little bit. I think Atlanta took a different approach with Penix. They didn't play him, I don't think, last week. I think they've been seeing what they've needed to see in practice. I think that's what you got to look at. And then we talked about it. Do you keep Cam out there? You want to see him. You need to see him. But you still got to figure out that quarterback too, especially what happened last week, right? Yeah. And so I think, he's your guy. You just want to get him reps. So are the reps in practice, are they enough? Is he getting what he needs out of that? I tend to think that's the way people kind of treat quarterbacks, and really veterans now with the 3 preseason games. It's kind of like this is get in, get out, even more so than when we played. Now a lot of veterans don't even play in the preseason. They just line up week 1 just to get ready, get their bodies ready, So I don't necessarily think he needs to be out there. More reps you can get is always going to be beneficial, right? You need the practice, you need the reps. But when you're talking about health concerns and
making sure he's ready for week one. I don't necessarily think he needs that if they feel like he's getting what he needs on those practice days.
Dyson, just because you brought it up a second ago, man, about how deep that wide receiver group is as far as the competition, from your perspective, man, like how hard is it to carve out a role at wide receiver when you got so many things you got to do? You got to know the play, you got to get open, you got to have separation, and then the ball also has to come to you. Like what happens in those moments, Dyson, mentally, and I guess as your career when the ball isn't coming your way? What can you do to be seen? Because it's a hard position, which is why I would say disrespectfully, why y'all act like divas at times. Give me the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
I get it. So that's why I'm asking you, what do you do in camp when you behind the 8-ball?
Man, I'm going to tell you from a friend of mine, a former teammate of yours, and we had so many conversations about this, Hines Ward.
Mm-hmm.
Man, me and Hines would talk, and he said, KD, man, I was just willing to do what other guys wouldn't in front of me, Plexico or Edwards wouldn't do it. They weren't blocking. And you had Jerome Bettis back there. We was going to run the football, so I wanted to be on the field. So I was a missile. I was trying to block. He was hitting everybody, and then they wanted him on the field because he would block. And next thing you know, they threw the ball. He was catching everything. It's like, oh, he can play. He can catch too. So then he became wide receiver one. So I say that to draw the comparison is you have to be doing what everybody else isn't doing. You know, and you got to do what they're doing. But if they don't learn their plays, you make sure you know all your plays. If they're not making the right reads, make sure you know all your reads. If they're missing blocks, make sure you're not missing those blocks. If they don't jump in on special teams because they don't want to do gunner, you make sure you jump in on there. Like you have to be willing to do whatever to find a spot on not just this Titan roster and on the roster of the other 31 teams because there's only a few spots, you know, and you go by positions even fewer. So there's only, you know, probably 5 to maybe 7 receivers on each roster throughout the league. And so that's 200-something odd positions that you're fighting for, let alone the 5 or 6, maybe 7 at the camp that you're in. And so you have to be willing to do something a little bit different. And that's what separates you, you know. And then everybody locker counts. You know, Ridley's going to be there. Lockett's probably going to be there. Just drafted 2 guys. They're going to be there in some form or fashion, whether it be practice squad or going to be active. And then you got Jefferson, another guy, a veteran that you just signed. You know what I'm saying? So you start locker room counting. You got a couple guys, Kinsey and a couple other guys that are kind of lingering and been around, but where they fit. So you got to separate yourself and make sure when that separation comes, it's dynamic and they can't take their eyes off of you.
Wow.
Kevin Dyson has been our guest. Titans Talk back underway. Stoney Keeley, Zach Lyons, Kevin Dyson crushing it. Week 1 of preseason. They got you covered all season long. Great to catch up with you, Dr. Dyson. And you'll be in for Ramon next week when he's jet setting to do Steelers radio. So we will talk to you very soon.
Appreciate it, Dice.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. Looking forward to it, brother.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Good stuff. There's Kevin Dyson with us here this morning talking a little bit of Titans.
On the dirty work.
Yeah. I like that. That's part of the reason why Elikiah Manor was such an attractive draft prospect is because he will put a guy in the dirt.
He did this past week, too, or this past Saturday. Well, he ain't putting nobody in the dirt, but he was leading on the run block, man. That was good to see from him.
Coming up, Ramon Foster going to look at the ops. What Ramon saw from Travis Hunter at field level on the Steelers radio broadcast over the weekend. We'll talk about that next. Ramon Will, 104.5 The Zone is fueled by Scooters Coffee, available wherever you download podcasts in a little over an hour. If you missed some of the calls, some of the initial takes, you can join us wherever you download podcasts, Apple and Spotify, where we recommend you go. Ramon Foster was on the call for Steelers and Jaguars over the weekend as well. The Mason Rudolph and Skylar Thompson show.
Yeah.
No backup QB concerns in Pittsburgh.
Not any, man. Well, a little bit now they want to feel like Skylar Thompson's the quarterback for the future or something. I joke a little bit, but he balled.
Yes, exactly why the Titans have Tim Boyle and Brandon Allen.
Yeah, exactly.
To avoid discourse on, could this guy be the guy?
And also Will Howard potentially has lost an opportunity because of a broken hand right now. So immediately you start thinking about next year. Will Howard's not going to play the entire preseason for the Steelers, and you know what that means, Will? No real evaluation. So they'll probably end up picking a quarterback in the first round next year.
What'd you think about Travis Hunter in person?
Fast.
Faster than you thought?
Yes. Quick, speedy, accelerates at a top-end way is what you see from him, man. They're using him. I think if they really want to take a step, use him on offense only is the way I see that one. Yeah, do some spot stuff from here to there, but offensively for him and Brian Thomas Jr., they can be problematic, Will. Specifically from Travis Hunter, they are lines. They're playing them close to the line of scrimmage, giving them the ball quick and opportunities. One thing I did see from him that was a little bit different from his college days, he catch the ball, guys are on him. He caught one and had a defender beat. And you know what the defender did? Reached out and grabbed him. And again, him gaining muscle mass from time to time is going to help him get away from those moments. Well, they grabbed him like he was an 8th grader and was like, get over here, and just brought him to the ground in those moments. The Jags offense was quick, I felt, too, getting the ball out in space, moving guys, man. Trevor Lawrence looked to be as sharp as you needed him to be in the moments that he played. But in totality, Travis Hunter can be problematic. You need to have somebody on him. I'm talking about ASAP. He will somewhat get physical with you also. Now, defensively, I saw him play corner, too. You had the rookie running back, Caleb Johnson, from Iowa State. No, from Iowa. From Iowa break outside on him, and his angle was bad. Now, that's the difference. The players are better in the NFL. You see the best of the best, and he ended up missing the open field tackle in moments like that. But he was also getting picked on out there. Guys were giving him extra pushes and shoves. As far as Travis Hunter's concerned, he got it, is what I would say. He was, I ain't going to say easier to cover, but like down the field, guys were able to step with him. But his ability to stop and come back to the ball, you see it, Will.
Trevor Lawrence was 6 of 7 for 43 yards, a 92.3 QB rating, one of 4 quarterbacks who saw the field for the Jacksonville Jaguars over the weekend. And Travis Hunter had 2 catches for 9 yards in this game. You look at the total contribution that the Heisman Trophy winner and rookie out of Colorado had. So for Jacksonville, 19 total snaps, 11 of them on offense, 8 of them on defense for Travis.
Yeah. Defensively, that's the thing about playing him on the other side of the ball. You don't notice what he's doing, essentially. And I just feel like that's just extra energy expanded. I mean, just used and wasted when it could be on one side of the ball. But I get it. He doesn't stop moving. His pregame, man, the amount of running that he's doing up and down the field, catching deep balls from Trevor Lawrence and stuff like that, he is the Energizer Bunny. If he doesn't have a battery endorsement, something's going on with his camp, is what I'm telling you. Yeah. He just doesn't start moving. He's a featherweight out there, so he bounces when he moves, Will. I get why he was the number 1 player in his recruiting class. I get why even at Jackson State he balled, and he did what he did at Colorado. I couldn't imagine. I say this as a hopeful SEC guy, but I couldn't imagine what he could have looked like in the SEC.
Houston Texans fall 20-10 to the Minnesota Vikings over the weekend in Minnesota. For Houston, an extended chance to see some new starters or just some new rotational players of the offensive line get significant reps. Blake Fisher, the second-year tackle, plays 59% of the snaps, 33 snaps on offense. John Mechie, the standout for the Houston Texans, played 55% of the snaps, was on the field for 31 snaps total, 5 catches for 45 yards on 8 targets to lead the way, with Keaton Slovis, Davis Mills, and Graham Mertz throwing the football for Houston. Graham Mertz struggled.
Yeah.
Talk about bad backup quarterback play. 7 of 14, 27 yards, 3 interceptions for the former Florida Gator and Wisconsin Badger.
Couldn't have happened to a better guy.
Look at you on August 11th.
This is why DJ Lagway was in quick, right?
Florida.
This is
slander.
Hey, listen, we're in the thick of it now. We can start the slander issue. I mean, we can start the slander conversation moving forward now.
It was a 2-quarterback system until he hurt his knee in Knoxville.
Well, tough luck for guys like him. I see also in this Houston game, Jalen Noel got some burn, and also Jaden Higgins too. So they have
Iowa State guys.
Yeah, and they got a similar issue. Like they got a lot of bodies at wide receiver.
They do.
That they got to figure out in the end.
615-737-1045. The Monday Roast coming up at 9:20. More of your phone calls on Titans and Bucs over the weekend. Let's update you on some position battles and injuries, some of the housekeeping stuff that was significant over the weekend, a special teamer taking a step forward, a wide receiver who appears to be the outside looking in, plus the latest on Kevin Winston Jr. All that and more for you coming up next.
Don't be surprised if you see other jewelry store owners shopping at Genesis Diamonds this week, man. They know a once-a-year opportunity when they see it. Right now, for a limited time, every GIA-certified diamond engagement ring at Genesis is an extra 20% off. Genesis already unbelievable everyday price, okay? You can't miss this annual event. And this year, Genesis is even including lab-grown diamond rings, an extra 20% off from a half a carat to 20 carats. Every shape, every style. They'll have rounds, ovals, radiance, cushion cuts, pears, emeralds, princess cuts, all handcrafted and set to perfection. At Genesis, the vault is open and the values are unreal. This is the event smart buyers wait all year for, but you have to hurry. Selection is best right now and quantities are limited. One per customer, please, okay? It's the Genesis Diamonds Diamond Extravaganza, an extra 20% off stunning GIA and lab-grown diamond engagement rings only at Genesis Diamonds. They're located in Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details. It's Ramon Foster for Jewel Roofing, and I'm here to tell you about my guys at Jewel Roofing and Exteriors, a trusted family-owned Middle Tennessee company serving from Clarksville to Murfreesboro. Listen to me, for over 25 years. Thing is, they stand out by building relationships and earning trust through referrals, never through high-pressure tactics or door knocking or storm chasing. We've all had to deal with that because we get that type of weather here in Middle Tennessee. For a roofer, you can count on, listen to me, call 615-868-9999 or visit jewelroofing.com. That's Jewel Roofing with 2 L's.com.
It is 9 o'clock. Good Monday morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. Tennessee Titans head coach Brian Callahan spoke to the media yesterday after the Titans' 29-7 loss to the Buccaneers Saturday and talked about rookie quarterback Cam Ward's preseason debut.
Cam certainly hasn't arrived yet. We got a lot of things still we're working on. I thought it was a good start for him. Encouraging, it was productive. But yeah, there's a couple of things that we're going to keep kind of grinding on. I think still working on getting the ball out fast, still working on the timing part of it. I think it was good to feel some live action there to feel what that feels like for real. But overall, pretty good. But there's certainly plenty of things that we're still working on with Cam.
In other Titans news, the Titans are in Atlanta this week and off of practice today, but back on the field tomorrow and Wednesday for joint practice with the Falcons. The Titans will be without running back Tyjae Spears, who was forced out of the game early Saturday night with a high ankle sprain. Head coach Brian Callahan provided an update on the injury in yesterday's press conference, saying that Spears is expected to miss the next couple weeks, including the final 2 preseason games. He hopes to have him back, though, for Week 1 in Denver. Also, it was confirmed yesterday that Titans inside linebacker Anthony Orji suffered a torn ACL in last Thursday's joint practice with the Bucs, and he will miss the entire 2025 season. And other NFL news, an injury situation worth monitoring in Philadelphia as Eagles Pro Bowl left guard Landon Dickerson was carted to the locker room during yesterday's practice after suffering an apparent right leg injury and was unable to put much weight on it. Dickerson is scheduled to have an MRI today to determine the extent of that injury. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Ramon Will on 104.5 The Zone, kicking off a brand new week, kicking off your Monday morning, the first Titans Reaction Monday of 2025. Cam Ward was solid. Backup quarterbacks, run defense, not so much. We got another hour for your takes here on the show, 615-737-1045. It feels good, Ramon Foster, to be reacting to a football game.
It does, man. We get real stuff to talk about and not just, what we saw at training camp practices and, hey, does Cam look this good or not that good, and this guy and that guy. So I was glad that this Tennessee Titans fan base got that full opportunity this past weekend. You think they were satisfied with Cam? That's what we hadn't heard yet.
I honestly think so.
Okay.
I think so. I think fans, because the second drive was so long, saw more of Cam than I think a lot of people expected.
Yeah. That was a solid drive right there to be able, and I think, that's what we saw. I feel like the last day that we were there, their ability to be in the field, unscripted, and score. Remember when the 2-minute situation right there? That's what we saw at training camp, was them be just confident in what they were doing and know how to execute it too. And again, I want to throw this out there again. The O-line has stood tall.
O-line's been solid. You come out of it with really the one injury to Tyjae Spears, which obviously is a big blow for him. Not expected to be back in preseason, Tyjae Spears, after what Teron Davenport reports is a high ankle sprain. So he will start his road to recovery, which, Ramon, you imagine is around week 1? Is that fair to assume he will be there for week 1, or is that maybe up in the air at this point?
I would say week 1 is the goal. Now, how much he plays probably depends upon his health, because I don't think, not going to send him to IR or nothing like that for 4 weeks. So he's going to be on the roster. It's just a matter of his availability and how these coaches pivot on what their offense is going to look like too. So I say week 1 definitely is what he's shooting and striding for. I wonder what's the grade of it. But again, here's the other side. This sucks for him because he's got a real grand opportunity to do more blitz pickup with, with Atlanta this upcoming week with these joint practices, and they're valuable reps that are lost right now. But again, there's a 100% injury rate in the NFL. Eventually it's going to happen to somebody. You just hate it's Tyjae.
Well, considering the shape that field was in on Saturday night in Tampa, that is a positive just coming out with one injury.
Yeah.
And, Ramon, I don't know if the Titans are going to have worse field conditions all season. I can speak firsthand because I was there on the sideline. there was a line of where you could see the sod had been placed down at the edge of the hash marks at the sideline. So there's obviously the hash marks in the middle of the field, the yard lines, literally, of every yard. There was a line right there where there was a separation between a line of sod, another line of sod. Then on the sideline, where guys like Arlington Hambright was over there going through pass rush sets and trying to get loose and get warmed up for going in, you didn't even have good footing on the sideline. Because the same thing, there were strips of grass. The grass was placed down and put down, we were told, the day before the game. So talking to some of the specialists and just hearing the conversation, there was some frustration about how bad that field was from the Titans. And considering how awful it was, I think you were lucky to not have any grass and turf related injuries down there. It was awful. It was an ice rink, honestly. And you had about an hour of rain. You had rain all day in Tampa. I mean, it's Florida in the summer. Like, rain's going to happen. But then the hour of warm-ups, there was rain. I was in the tunnel just watching it, waiting for it. And I came back out with about 20 minutes to kick off, and it stopped. But the damage had been done. That field was terrible.
It was soaked already.
Terrible. Yeah.
They should have picked a better day to do that. And here's the thing. They do that often. It's usually not the day before in most situations like that. And then they'll roll it to try to make it just one with the ground. And it just doesn't work like that. Like, those are young roots trying to attach themselves to the dirt at that point.
Right.
I get it. They're in a saturated area when it comes down to how the grass reacts to it. But the NFL has to do a better job of making sure those standards aren't the day before when it comes down to games being played on that turf.
The standards need to be higher for preseason games for field conditions.
And you know
100%.
What? All it is they're worried about their own timeline, because I think they're on the road to Pittsburgh this week for a joint practice. And they're trying to make sure that when they show back up for a game, it's attached already. So, but you can't put players' health at risk when you do that type of stuff.
That is the beauty of turf.
Yeah.
You have a higher floor of how bad turf can really be. Now, at its best, when it's perfectly well-kept natural grass is the best option. But at its worst, Ramon, bad natural grass surfaces are worse than bad turf surfaces, right?
I 100% agree.
It's easier to get your foot caught or just totally slip on bad grass. Titans are going to go to turf that I don't think is great either this weekend against Atlanta. And I've been on that turf quite a bit with a couple of different teams in college and soccer. And I am personally not a big fan of the Atlanta turf, but it's not nearly as bad as what they were on in Tampa. So Teron Davenport of ESPN puts out clarity on Titan safety Kevin Winston Jr., who, for me, Ramon, had no business stepping foot on that turf in a game setting on Saturday. There was no reason to play Kevin Winston Jr. Coming off of an ACL last season on that field. Teron Davenport tweets this yesterday. He says, Kevin Winston Jr. is dealing with normal soreness that comes in the post-ACL surgery recovery. Brian Callahan has mentioned before about being smart and carefully managing select players during training camp. Winston is one of them. Titans don't want to send him on the field while dealing with soreness. Not sure the risk of re-injury outweighs the reward. Big picture approach is to have him healthy and ready to go week 1.
Smart. As much as he can go in practice, you want to see him be live. But if it's any signs of soreness or a setback that's going to happen, I know coaches have the tendency to just be hard when it comes to what they want to see from their players. But the goal is always get as many good bodies healthy to the first week of the season. That's what matters the most. The evaluation, yes, is a huge part of it. If you got able-bodied guys out there, we're speaking about as far as the quarterbacks, right? Brandon Allen, Tim Boyle. Like, yes, you want to see those dudes be out there. But if you got a player like Kevin Winston Jr. that has soreness, you pull them. Again, I'm trying to win as many games as I can, or at least see guys be in positions that can help us win games or have growth. He's one of those dudes to me, and I think can play a huge part for this defense in 2025.
As good as he's looked with so little practice, I'm not sure they need to push it. There are some guys who have the ability to learn and get better and get on the job training without doing it. Yeah. I think he's one of those guys, and talking to people over there, they feel like he is engaged enough in practice when he's not out there to still learn something. Yeah. And to still be ready to go when his name and number is called. Lloyd Cushenberry may return this week according to Brian Callahan, saying there is still no timetable. He doesn't want to give a specific timeline of week 1 readiness, but says it is encouraging that he may get on the field in a return to practice window from IR. Says feels good about where he's at, optimism that he is on the right track, and encouraged. That would be what, Ramon? What would that mean if Lloyd Cushenberry is back this week?
Individual is where you start him at. I'm not even sure if he does the group thing as far as, just guys being together, him being with the ones. I think you just put him in situations where he's got a blocking offensive lineman, guys push on him, he snaps the ball a little bit, you get a feel for what you are as a player again. That's got to be, I'm going to be honest with you, that's got to be scary in his positioning, though, considering that's how he ruptured the Achilles to begin with, was doing those types of things. If the doctors are saying it fine, they've done some strenuous stuff leading up to him being back engaged in the practice, then go ahead and take the next step. You can't wait on it as it pertains to you thinking it's perfect. You got to go see if it's perfect, and that involves individual drills more than anything. Going underneath the chutes wheel, having the young offensive lineman push on him. Reps is what he's looking forward to at this point. Him going one-on-ones or against the defense right now, no. I think that's probably another week away.
As far as the position battles we watched on Saturday night in Raymond James Stadium, I thought one guy, Ramon, emerged and continued to put distance between himself and everyone else. James Prochet is this team's punt returner.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
He had a long return that was called back due to a holding penalty from Alan Eck and his crew. It wasn't his fault. I thought he was dynamic. I thought watching him in pregame, he's got good hands. He understands the positioning of that position and the challenges that come with. You're giving up major ground and you're putting your offense behind the 8 ball if you just let a ball drop. Yeah. I think he is quick enough and savvy enough to know where to be and how to get positive yardage and not lose it by just letting the ball drop and roll behind him. I think at this point, Ramon, it's looking clearer at wide receiver than I expected this early of who's going to make this team. Yeah. And I think James Prochet right now is pretty clearly the 7th and final receiver on this roster.
He was so vertical in his approach to getting the ball and getting yards. That was huge. And again, when you're talking about the 6th or 7th wide receiver, Will, we're
got to
not
be able to do something else.
Exactly. We're not talking about the 1st and 10 guys, right? Unless there's like a deep pass down the field and you got a guy like Tyler Lockett or Calvin Ridley that's got to come out. Yeah, spare him for 2 or 3 plays in this series. But your value to this team is what he just showed this past weekend. Will, he got north, man. And I'm talking about quick. It was really good with the ball. And I like what his vision was, too. Sometimes guys don't play their primary position as pros, and that is all right. There's a value for guys like him. And that's why I say Kevin Dyson brought this up when he was on with us a second ago. That's why it's problematic for a guy like Xavier Restrepo. Like,
played 11 snaps on offense.
11 snaps on offense. And if you can't do what James Prochet is doing, then what are we talking about at this point? We're talking about value towards the team. And that matters a whole lot more than a guy who's a slot receiver. You know what I'm saying? So it was apparent. I think it was Buck that said it. You said it last week also, Will. Like, he's the punt returner when it comes down to this team.
615-737-1045. Who in sports from the weekend deserves to be roasted? We'll tell you next.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Man, nobody wants to deal with a plumbing, HVAC, or an electrical emergency. It just sucks. I know that. We've all had to deal with those types of things from time to time. And most of the time, you don't even know what it's going to cost or if it'll get fixed right or if somebody's just trying to sell you something you don't need because you need something fixed in your house. But when you call Hiller, their experts are going to solve your problems quickly. And the price you're told is also the price that you'll actually pay. There are no hidden fees or surprises when you get your bill. Hiller's has been in business here for over 35 years and are family owned and operated. Their techs, when they come to your house, are very professional, experienced, and trustworthy. And they're all background checked and drug screened too. And when they're on their way, you'll receive a photo of the tech and a link to track them in real time, so you're not wasting time waiting around for them. Their motto has always been, man, happy you'll bill, the service is free, and they absolutely mean that. So whether to learn more about Hiller or to book with them like I do, simply visit happyhiller.com.
Ramon Will at 104.5. The Zone is fueled by Scooters Coffee, hour number 4. And stream it live on 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. 615-737-1045. How you jump in. Mondays at 9:20 would tell you who in sports and in life deserves to be roasted. Yes, it is time, ladies and gentlemen, for the Monday Roast. The Monday Roast on Ramon and Will. Ramon Foster, who in sports deserves to be roasted?
It's a few, man. I'll start, man, with our good friend. Not really our good friend, but Andy Dalton.
Okay.
If you saw the game this past weekend, Andy Dalton did a fake screen so good, Will, that he faked himself out and landed on his back. He jumped up to throw the ball. Defender put his hand up. Andy keeps it. Andy lost his feet and fell flat on his back, Will. So for Andy Dalton, man, and all guys that have to have a lesser role as a backup quarterback, boom, roasted.
Boom, roasted.
Yeah, I just saw the video. That's amazing.
It's amazing.
That's so funny.
And he laughed at the end of it, so I was proud of Andy Dalton for that one. I got another one, too. Awareness on the sidelines. We got to be good at these types of things, okay?
You're not talking to me, are you?
No. Well, it can be you, okay, depending upon what happens.
I'm taking notes.
If they run towards the sideline, well, don't predict where they're going. Just go ahead and step back, okay? See, what happened in Dallas this past weekend was...
CeeDee Lamb, man.
He fell for the Joe Milton, okay? He fell for the Joe Milton. Joe Milton's got a cannon of an arm and had a wide receiver I ain't going to say wide open, had about 2 steps on the defender. Joe puts too much air on it. Classic. But in that, CeeDee Lamb throws his hands up and look at the scoreboard. Referee runs into the back of him. Sideline awareness. Come on, CeeDee Lamb, man. Be good. And he's probably going to end up, I think there's a penalty for running into the referee at the time, too. So, boom, roasted CeeDee Lamb.
Roasted.
Yeah, that was tough. It also is funny watching NFL people go through the Joe Milton experience.
It's so cool.
He went through the, routes on air look great, too. At practice this week, Joe Milton was the best quarterback, even better than Dak Prescott. And then you get in the game and he's overthrowing go balls by 10 yards.
And Jerry Jones is falling for it, too, man. I'm not sure if this is a real quote or not, but it was on 105.3 The Fan in Dallas. Jerry Jones had to say this about him. I really have to pinch myself that we got him after the last game he had up there. Starting there for New England, I'm just excited that we got a chance to get him, and he hasn't disappointed. We're just more and more encouraged by what we are seeing. Shout out to Jerry Jones then for going to get involved, man.
There you go.
So those are my 2. I got one more that might actually tick some people off.
Go for it. Do it.
I'll wait, just in case somebody else.
What do you mean?
Should I get the people going?
Yeah, get the people going.
I get the people going.
Do it.
This one, man, I love a good fairy tale story.
Okay.
Absolutely adore it. Do you hear me? But if I see, respectfully, Xavier Restrepo acting like the Walmart greeter in the tunnel for his teammates coming into the locker room, couldn't do it. As a vet, watching the young guy be in a role like that don't have a big role on the team, I say boom, roasted. Focus on you, my brother.
Roasted.
Focus on you. Focus on finding something else. I thought it was cool that he's greeting his teammates coming into the locker room, but my brother in Christ, there are bigger fish to fry when it comes down to how we are perceived as a good teammate and as a player in the NFL. And you being the greeter for all players getting off the bus was not something I had on my bingo card. So for the optics of what it is, I didn't like it. Boom, roasted.
Boom,
that's a personal
roasted.
one to me. It just looked like Walmart greeter. I get it. I understand it. But no, I'll pass.
Restrepo was on the early bus with Cam Ward as well. Those two were heading to Raymond James Stadium about 6 hours before kickoff.
Yeah. Busting diamonds, I see it. Ramon, he's just trying to be a good teammate by making plays on the field as a rookie. That's what I would tell him. It was like, my brother, hey, come over here, man. We don't need the hand daps coming into the locker room.
Harsh.
Yeah, no, for real. I saw it and I was just like, don't be the sideshow. is what I was thinking. Let us take you serious for your play.
I don't have an issue
told
with
you I was
it because
gonna
I
tick you
don't.
off.
I know why. I'm not ticked off about it. I mean, I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But it's not like Xavier Restrepo was posting pictures himself. Like a picture of him was taken or a video of him was taken supporting his teammates. It's not up to him what Titan social media posts.
I love the video.
And I don't mind them posting it either because I think it's fair to show two new guys welcoming their teammates. I think you're reading too much into
this. Isn't a fairy tale league. Stories are made when you make plays.
I mean, you're obviously going to have a different opinion because of your NFL experience, and rightfully so. I just view it as a guy that wants to make the team and he wants to be present. But I guess it can be too much. But I see it as the underdog. The underdog wants to be present. He wants to get on the field. He only played 11 snaps, but he wants to be on the field.
To be fair, it's hard to make plays the way Tim Boyle played on Saturday too.
Yeah,
when you're on the field exclusively with Tim Boyle.
The underdog also doesn't bark. He just bites. It's the other side of that story, too.
I mean, underdog.
I told you it wasn't going to be popular with that
Diego Pavia is an underdog. You think he's not barking right now?
No, I don't think he's an underdog anymore. No, he's an underdog
it's
no
still
more.
Vanderbilt.
No, that's true, but he's not an underdog anymore. We know who he is. My thing is this. We know of Diego Pavia because of the plays he made. We got to figure out what Xavier Restrepo is as a doggone NFL wide receiver before we get to that point.
I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, I told you it wasn't going to be popular.
I think you're being a bit harsh, but I understand where you're coming from.
I am. Legitimately, I know I am. And I ain't got no problem with that.
No,
but
I know.
I would have grabbed him and was like, come on, little bro, let's go to the locker room. Focus in on the game.
Fair. Justin Hawkins, what you got?
I got a couple. I'm going to start with something that's a little bit overblown as a topic, but yet it's still making itself prevalent. It's these. We're going to be nice. This is a radio show. We're going to stop throwing these sex toys on the dang basketball courts. And why do they have to be the color green? It's childish. One was one thing. Now we're up to 4, and one hits a player now. One of the best good-looking WNBA players in the league, Sophie Cunningham. Like, let's stop. Can we stop, please? It's enough.
Boom. Roasted.
Yeah, it's a little out of control. It's very out of control.
It's very inappropriate and misogynistic and everything.
Yeah, it's not great.
You dudes throwing them out there, too. It's like,
right.
What are we doing? Y'all actually going to the stores or going to Amazon to buy these things? Come on, man.
I saw this Twitter post the other day of somebody suiting up to go to their first WNBA game, and it was for Angel Reese, and it was their Amazon cart where it had a shirt of Angel Reese, a socks that had her face all over it, and then just barely the tip of whatever. And it was it was just a joke so that it would get people all riled up. And it's like, come on, can we please stop? This is getting too hectic. All right, so the other one I was going to do was...
What a world we live in. What a world we live in.
2025.
Goodness.
The other one I was going to do is Diego Pavia, his summer campaign of just hot take city. And he goes on to, what was it, the Paul Feinbaum?
Yeah.
Last week, it was August 7th. Vanderbilt, they're going for it all this season. Here's the quote. I think we've got the tools offensively and defensively to go put our foot forward and go win the national championship. That is the standard in Nashville with the Vanderbilt Commodores. Any wide receiver, he's going to say that they're the number one player in the country. Any offensive lineman, defensive lineman, it doesn't matter whatever position, they are the number one player in the country. And, of course, he was asked, who's the best quarterback? And he's going to say himself. Diego Pavia, can we just stop and let's just go play some football this fall?
Boom. Roasted.
Diego Pavia is saying a lot of things I'm okay with him saying internally, publicly.
Right.
Not everything needs to be shared outside the locker room.
Go rile up your teammates. Don't go rile up the whole country.
I respect the amount of confidence Diego Pavia has in himself and in his team and in the program, and what they did last year deserves a lot of credit. But my guy, you are writing checks you just can't cash. I'm sorry. You've already got a big enough target on your back for the way you played last year. Flapping your lips the way you are this offseason is not going to help. How much Alabama and Auburn and Tennessee and South Carolina and LSU and Missouri want to get after you this year. I don't think he is doing himself any favors. And it's fine to trash talk. Then there becomes a point where you are actually hurting yourself and your team more than you're helping it. And I think Diego Pavia has crossed that line. I really do.
I mean, going on the bus with the boys, saying that you're going to beat Tennessee.
Well, it's fine.
That's fine.
That's what the show asks of them.
100%.
And you actually may beat Tennessee this year.
He's beating a dead horse at this point.
On any given Saturday with the Netflix documentary, all the trash talk that went with that, we played that last week. And now just to say that you're going for it all this year, you're Vanderbilt. You're not there yet. You're coming. And with the new NIL structure and stuff, it may be possible in the coming future, but you're just not there yet. Let's focus on getting back to another bowl game. That's your immediate goal. It's not making a playoff. What's your next immediate goal?
I think they're on the outside looking in of bowl eligibility too. But mainly because I think Virginia Tech, just at the start of the season, is a really, really tough trip for them.
He's just writing checks.
I know it's not the first game they play, but early in the season before SEC play. I mean, we'll see. It's a really hard schedule they have. Like, I think Vanderbilt is better this season than they were last year, but their record won't be just because of what their schedule is.
It just feeds into the old saying, the loudest one in the room is usually the weakest. Sometimes just catch people by surprise. And I know that ain't true in all situations because Mayweather was loud as heck, and here he is undefeated as a boxer.
Here's Eric on YouTube saying, if this were whoever the Vols' joke of a quarterback is this year, y'all would be all over.
No, absolutely would not.
They're over here being quiet.
I'd much rather be quiet about it.
They ain't saying anything.
No.
Nor should they.
I mean, you don't see.
We don't even know who the starter is. What is there to say?
To that same point, have you ever heard Georgia speak out loud like this? Have you ever heard Ohio State players speak out loud like this?
I heard DJ Lagway. Here's a rival. Here you go, because Eric thinks we're biased because we went to Tennessee. DJ Lagway at the end of Any Given Saturday on Netflix was asked, what are your expectations for next year? DJ Lagway's answer, we want to make the college football playoff. That's a rival. Do I have to hate him? No, that's the perfect answer. Yeah. That's the first step you got to take. Hey, let's make the playoff. Let's get ourselves to the dance, and we'll see what happens from there. That's the perfect answer. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
I have no affinity with Tennessee. I did not go there. I'm just from the state.
Noted VFL, Justin Hawkins.
Yeah, right.
Kent says, clip that. Vandy will beat Tennessee. They'll make a bowl game. They'll be number 13 overall, headed into playoff selection. Kent, if Vanderbilt is ranked 13th in the country going into the playoffs, I will wear a Vanderbilt jersey for a week on this show.
Oh, clipping that.
Yeah, no.
I will clip that.
Sure, that's fine. Let's just worry about making the Birmingham Bowl again. Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to
Let's just try to get to Shreveport before we worry about Dallas.
Will. Come on.
You know what? The Las Vegas Bowl would be excellent. Let's get to Las Vegas for the Las Vegas Bowl before we worry about going to New Orleans for the Sugar Bowl.
Come on, my dog.
What are we doing, man?
Yeah, seriously.
Vanderbilt deserves a lot of credit for what they did last season. Not that much credit. They are not a playoff team. No shot.
No.
I don't speak in absolutes very often. I will on this one. Vanderbilt is not making the college football playoff. I'm sorry, they're just not.
Yeah.
Neither is Tennessee. I'll say it both ways. Tennessee's not making the playoff this year. What do you want me to do?
Man.
I'll call it even.
Yeah. You got to call it.
Tennessee's going to take a step back this year. Vanderbilt might as well, but that's college football in 2025.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I see Eric also says this is supposed to be the morning roast real quick. We said, but Cam Ward is basically out here saying that he's got top 5 receivers and we're 11. And here's the other thing, too. Cam Ward is the number 1 overall draft pick. He's also got a really good wide receiver in Calvin Ridley that he feels he can make that good, too. You got to look at the talent discrepancies here, too. There is a separator in what we're actually saying and what can feel more real versus what actually is presented in that situation. Now, I will say, Stowers, they got a top 5 tight end.
Oh, yeah. They need a lot more than that, though.
Junior Sherrill, they got top.
You know who
the
top 2 targets are, but who else?
Yeah,
I mean Martell Hight's going to play both ways, but I don't know what that looks like this season. There are still major question marks, and it's still a major talent gap between them and the rest of the conference.
And that's the point.
Other than Mississippi State and Kentucky, who Vanderbilt I think is. I don't know. Mississippi State's going to be better, but Kentucky's the worst team in the conference. Kentucky and Arkansas are the worst teams.
They can make the morning roast this morning.
Yeah, right. Vanderbilt's gotten out of the cellar, but they're not a playoff team. They're not. We're not. What are we doing? What are we doing? I've not even gotten my Monday roast yet. Mike Tomlin, after Pittsburgh's win over Jacksonville in the preseason, showed up to his press conference so nobody asked a question.
And hopefully be better the next time out. I'll pause and open it up for questions.
Anyone? All right.
Thank you.
What Pittsburgh media? Come on.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Nobody. Man, what's crazy?
Is nobody in the room?
I don't even know because we were live on TV still then. And they cut back to us. I was like, no way. Like, nobody has a question? It wasn't that perfect of a game, Will, is what I'm telling you. Nobody asked a question. Boom, roasted.
Boom, roasted.
What are we, like, there's got to be some context to this. There's got to, like, was there a Zoom that wasn't started on accident? Well, I mean, but still, even then, like, why is there no one there?
Yeah, I have no idea. Unless they were in the locker room. I was told, like, with some people, like budgets, I guess, with outlets that send their reporters on the road to play a part. I'm with you. That was very problematic.
Even if, and if it is PR's fault, and again, I'm not handing blame to anyone specifically because I don't know the full context. There's no world in which that can happen.
Yeah.
Like, if the locker room availability is happening while Tomlin is talking, well, that's a problem too. That shouldn't be happening either. So,
right.
But the way that he smiles whenever he realizes nobody's got a question, he gets to leave.
If Mike T can get a day off of answering questions, he's going to take it.
I'm with you. Yeah, chill mode. He was happy about that. He had a smile on his face at the end.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tampa Bay. If you were listening to Titans radio on Saturday night, you heard about this. I was going to
let you have this one.
The Tampa Bay Cannons. I was expected, Ramon, to be startled by cannon fire, by cannonballs. I was not expecting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to fire the cannons when the Bucs entered the red zone. What are we doing? We should have higher standard for cannon fire in the year of our Lord 2025. Every time, and a couple of them got brought back to the penalties because it felt like Allen X crew called 11,000 holding penalties against Tampa Bay on Saturday night. Many of them were deserved. Most of them, or really all of them were. There was one big one actually on their first touchdown drive that wasn't called, that they didn't get called for. Every time they would enter the red zone, oh, God, head on a swivel.
Yeah.
I jumped the first time I heard it.
Yeah.
I genuinely leapt into the air. Tampa Bay, what are we doing?
Roasted. Boom. Roasted.
Yeah. What are we doing?
Those cannons are loud. I'm not sure if it's sound behind it or they're actually shooting off gunpowder, but it is. The first one, the first one is serious, man. I jumped the last time I was down there. It's serious.
Well, the first one that they shot off wasn't even, I feel like wasn't even remotely close to when they should be shooting it off. I think they shot it off about 50 times.
I love Jayhawks like the bird delivery.
It was,
man.
honestly.
It's so good.
It was honestly crazy. It was honestly crazy.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed yourself still, though.
No, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun. I was very ready for the cannon, just not in that moment.
Cannons to the left.
Preseason for everybody.
Yeah,
that's right. That's absolutely right. To the phones, Jason of the Borough leads us off. Hey, Jason.
Hey. So my roast is actually something y'all might be able to help me with.
Okay.
Your station. I was driving on Saturday night during the NFC game, so I couldn't exactly watch my MLS package. No problem. Can listen to it on the radio. First off, no Will, no Lucas. That alone was upsetting. But then, every 5 minutes, it would be mid-sentence for our commentators, and it would cut into commercials. So we'd be listening to a build-up on, okay, pass is going down, maybe somebody's going to score, and then immediately cuts it. And Genesis Diamonds, so you can't tell what's happening in the game. And it was solid easily every 5 minutes. It was so frustrating that I did not even get to listen to the NFC game.
Yeah, Jason, appreciate the call. We're sorry about that. I know I saw one tweet about that. If you refresh it on the website, oftentimes it fixes it. My brother was on the call, by the way, too. I thought he did a great job, West Bowling. So I will not disparage the guy who was on the call because he's fantastic, and he did that job before I ever did, and knows the team as well as anybody in the world. But, no, yeah, it's frustrating. We apologize.
Oh, wow.
We're not up the flagpole, but, yep. I saw one response that if you refresh it, and I know that person who tweeted at us, we told him refresh it, and then it worked for them afterwards. But we'll work on it.
All right. No doubt.
Anyway.
Send it up the ladder.
Yep. Eric up next with a Monday roast. Hey, Eric.
What up, Eric?
Hey, guys. I told you I would call in whenever I hear about companies who merge for interesting combinations. Guys, I'm torn between two, but this is the one I'm going to go with. So, guys, I saw this last Thursday. Smoothie King has now gone into partnership with Heinz for ketchup smoothies.
Oh, no.
They are at selected, I think, Smoothie Kings. I don't know if they're at all of them, but it's for limited time. So, apparently in this, it's acai, sorbet, strawberries, raspberries, apple juice, and ketchup. Now, I live near one within walking distance where I live at on the corner of 12th and Wedgwood. Do I think I'm going to go out and try one? No, not necessarily. I have no interest in that. But it's just like anything to sell a product. It's getting to the point where this stuff is ridiculous. That's my broom roasted. And, guys, for a teaser next week, I've got another one I recently heard about. I won't give you total details, but it involves a deodorant company and a beer company.
Oh.
So that's just a little teaser. I'll give you that next week. Guys, y'all take care and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Eric.
Radio Pro, Eric, baby.
Eric listens to so much Sports Talk Radio, he knows how to do teases.
I can't wait.
And I say that lovingly. We love you, Eric.
Absolutely, we do. Don't give that away either, Eric.
Ketchup in a smoothie, that I'm legitimately sick to my stomach. One thing about me, I don't mind. I like ketchup in small doses.
I love it in a lot.
The smell of ketchup makes me want to throw up.
Oh.
No, stop, because I will. Don't play that, because I literally will start to vomit. Like this, oh, God.
I don't even want to try to like
your show from here.
that. Yeah, I don't even want to try to like that.
If you play
to
the
be
sound of
quite
somebody
honest with you, sometimes it's best to just leave stuff alone. Like I've seen other restaurants too doing this pickle kick also.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how to feel about that, Will.
I'm not a pickle guy in any context.
I mean, I'm just seeing it everywhere. So I enjoy pickles in general, but like legitimately having them in my drinks or toppings on fries or whatever the case may be, we can just stop.
You ever have a
there should
pickle
be
beer?
a red light with certain stuff.
You ever pickle beer?
No.
It's called a pickle gulch.
I don't need that.
I did
It's very
also have in the Bahamas. I had like a whiskey with Irish with a whiskey and pickles though. It takes away the burn at the end. I did try it.
615-737-1045. More of your Monday roasts. Headlines of the way out next.
Is your concrete in need of repair? Maybe your sidewalk is shifting on you, your driveway cracked and sinking too, or your porch steps, maybe they've moved. Shifting concrete can create a dangerous situation, just trip hazard around your home. It's also just a big eyesore. Ramon Foster, and whatever is going on with your concrete, call United Structural Systems. Ask them about their polyurethane foam injections. You've heard about USS for a long time. It's the same company that has provided superior foundation repair and waterproofing to Middle Tennessee since 1994. Well, they can fix your sunken or settling concrete. USS uses polyurethane foam injections to lift and repair your sinking concrete in a matter of minutes. Lifted concrete can be walked on immediately or even driven on after about 30 minutes. So don't go through that long, expensive process of ripping out and replacing concrete. Reach out to the company I trust for all foundation and waterproofing. As USS, you can visit their website at ussTN.com. That's ussTN.com or call them at 615-488-7855. United Structural Systems.
Wrapping up the show, 104.5 The Zone. Ramon Will, fueled by Scooter's Coffee. Coming up tomorrow morning, we get the latest from a Tennessee fall scrimmage in Neyland Stadium with our friend Austin Price. More Titans preseason reaction, more getting ready for joint practices, which start again tomorrow. You will not hear from Brian Callahan on the show tomorrow morning because practice will begin and he will not have a pre-practice presser. Say that 5 times fast. Pre-practice presser, pre-practice presser, pre-practice presser. Oh, that actually worked.
It wasn't bad.
3 times.
Job well done.
Thanks. But we will continue to get reports from people who are down there in Atlanta. More of the Monday Roast. Jeff is up next. Hey, Jeff, what's up?
Hey, guys, thanks. I'm a little late to the game. I'm sure you guys have talked about this, and I know the quarterback talk is the sexy part, but man, how many red flags were raised on defense? And again, I know we didn't have a couple starters and they weren't playing their first team, but whether it was the run and especially the passing yardage, I mean, just would love to hear your all's feedback. I know it's early, but I thought the defensive performance was horrific that night, and appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Boom. Thank you, Jeff. Fair point. You give up 187 rushing yards. It's never good.
All right.
What I would say about that is, though, Ramon, this team chose to take risks on undrafted, rookie, inexperienced backup defensive players and use a lot of their roster spots and money on veteran backups on offense. So the reason why the offensive line feels so much more competent now than it was last year is because they went out and got Oli Udoh, Sam Mustipher, the other guys that have played football before, Blake Hance. You have still the third-year guy in Jalen Duncan. You have undrafted rookie Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon. A lot of the resources they invested were to get depth on offense because of how bad the offense was last year. And within that, you are sacrificing a lack of experience depth on defense. And, Ramon, they just need more time to rebuild the depth on defense.
100%. You have guys, man, like Josh Bledsoe that was missing open field tackles or getting beat by angles, running backs running for touchdowns. Like, those guys are the ones that got to step up. I'm with you. Like, you don't want this problem to bleed over. I would expect a huge correction for what happened this past weekend in the run game versus Atlanta.
Mason is in Portland up next. Hey, Mason.
What up, Mason?
What's up, guys? I'm a big fan of the show. And our roast is Madden putting Cam Ward as a 71 and putting Travis Hunter as an 86.
Yeesh. Yeah, I did.
Thank you, Mason. Appreciate the call.
I did see that. Number 1 overall quarterback. They rated him. Wow. Fascinating.
We'd give you more time, Mason, but we are almost out of it, so we got to move quickly. But yes, agreed. 86 overall is crazy. Yeah. Thankfully, Madden now they update the ratings as the season goes. So Madden ratings at the beginning of the season are just kind of a starting point. But I do agree. Jed is in Dixon. Gets the final call this morning. What's up, Jed?
What's up, guys? How are y'all doing this morning?
We are good.
All right. I got my morning roast here today for Nike for putting out the Shedeur Sanders ad after a preseason game. I know the man went 12 for whatever and had the good game, but it's against the Panthers' backup DBs. And I know our defense is bad, but come on, man. They are horrible. Boom, roasted.
Boom, roasted.
Thank you, Jed. Yeah, the fact that we're talking about it on a Marconi finalist sports station is exactly why they did it.
Capitalism, baby.
It worked.
It did. It worked.
I agree, but it worked.
Yep.
They put out an ad, if you missed it, a graphic of Shedeur Sanders with a Nike symbol saying, only a matter of time.
They checked the box. Marketing won for them. The impressions on that thing is crazy.
He gets attention. He may not be the best quarterback. I mean, he looked good over the weekend. Credit's due, but we're talking about him, so it worked. Coming up next, the Buck Rising Show. Cover 2, Blaine and Zach. 3HL, a Reaction Monday that continues. Coming up, Austin Price tomorrow, much more. Still to come, a new week beginning.
But remember, good people, at all times as you head over to the Buck Rising Show, your Twitter fingers and your mic is always hot.